not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
So just as I say we aren't going to let any dogs or water hoses turn us around, we aren't going to let any injunction turn us around. Well, I don't know what will happen now, but it really doesn't matter with me now, because I've been to the mountaintop.
The future doesn't belong to the faint-hearted. It belongs to the brave. Come here to this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, open this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite.
Now, there's one thing you might have noticed I don't complain about. Politicians.
Governments don't live together, people live together. Governments, you don't always get a fair word or a fair fight. Well, I've come here to give you either one, or get either one from you.
That is totally taken out of context.
Well, not really.
That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up,
T-minus 1 minute.
live out the true meaning of its creed.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people.
T-minus 50 seconds.
I am paying for this microphone, Mr. Every dollar released from taxation
T-minus 40 seconds.
that is spent or invested will help create a new job.
Chivalry is dead, and women killed it.
T-minus 30 seconds.
Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines.
T-minus 20 seconds.
We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing ground and in the streets.
10, 9,
We shall fight
8,
in the hills.
6,
We shall never surrender!
3, 2, 1, 0.
All right, welcome to the Problem Solver Politics live stream. I am your host, Cardinellis, with Cody the Oracle. Hey, everybody. And Cody's not hardcore. I'm doing the 2 headphone thing so we can be listening both to the live stream and to our show as well. So I'm thinking this is low tech, but the way to handle it. You know what I'm saying? Cody, how does it look? Does it look crazy?
Yeah, it's interesting, dude. Very interesting.
I might have to put a hat on. I'll put a hat on. I'm going to go back and I'm going to put a hat on so I don't look so cray-cray.
I'm going to make it look worse.
Anyway, welcome to the live stream. We're tearing it up. And we're actually excited to see it start. Cody has an analogy and he has a theory that at the end of the day, the more your campaign looks like the WWE, the better off you are. Because similar to Andrew Yang, he thinks that all politics is wrestling.
Well,
you know, and I got to tell you, this opening here looks like an opening on ESPN. You know, so when it comes to showmanship, I think ESPN pre-Super Bowl pre-Super Bowl analysis is like one step below WWE on its best day. So they're almost getting there, Cody. They're almost getting there.
No, what do you mean?
Well, we're both watching the exact same live stream.
Well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With all these chairs, with everybody cool in the background.
No, this is not.
It's pretty sick.
I will say one thing. Well, I'll say on that for anyone listening, that it does. Oh, by the way, $20 super chat from Sage Uber. Thank you very much. Shout out. Excited to be here. Excited to have you guys here. It definitely feels like Vince Russo's book in the Democratic Party right now. Bunch of swerves. Bunch of wow, I didn't see that coming. Or really, that seems like a bad idea.
We demand a recount and a recanvass.
Yeah, well, not quite.
You know,
like come on, bro.
Tom Perez is the heel.
No,
who's the face, dude?
Well, no, like I said, it'd be Russo. I'll tell you, no, bro, it'd be crazy, bro. I'll tell you what, bro, we won't announce the Iowa results, bro, or we'll announce them early, bro, but we'll only announce like 70%, bro. We won't announce everyone. Then at the very end, total swerve, bro. No one will see it coming. It's like just getting crazy. One thing I want to point out.
Andrew Yang's little thing's up right now. They're introducing everybody like it's the Hunger Games. I'm loving this. It looks like everybody before they die in the Hunger Games. Dude, and you can completely tell that ABC News favors the Democrats because they do not put this kind of production value into the Republicans.
What do you mean?
Oh, dude, they make the Democrat debates look cooler than the... I give them credit.
Who's
the
they?
Democrat
What are you
debates
even
look cooler.
talking about?
The mainstream media that covers them and gets paid and has these contracts to do these events.
Oh, God.
Come on, Stephanopoulos. This guy literally was Hillary Clinton's communications advisor.
Okay, but I don't think ABC wants to put out a bad televised product because they don't like Republicans. I don't think that's how it goes.
No, but their heart's not in it, dog.
Oh, their
and you
heart's
can
not
tell.
in it.
You can tell their heart's not in it.
Their heart's
But
not
their
in
heart is in this. Their hearts. We got to make Elizabeth Warren look good, man. We got to do it. Look, I got 2 headphones on. I'm twice as smart today.
Spare me, man. Their heart's not in it. Spare me.
It's because of my 200 IQ. I need twice as many headphones.
Okay.
Dude, that empty stage looks ominous, man. Set design's pretty killer, though. And this dude just looks like just a guy that's literally a caricature of a news anchor.
I think it's pretty funny. I like Tom Steyer. Oh, I just realized Andrew Yang will be the last person announced based on how they're doing this.
Hey, it's always best to be first or last.
Well, Tom Steyer's first.
So Tom Steyer's first.
Amy Klobuchar.
Klobuchar raided Hillary Clinton's closet.
Hey, can we do a prop bet? Before the first commercial break, Amy Klobuchar is going to make some joke about how Trump doesn't think he can lose to a woman. Well, he gets beat by a woman. But yeah, if she makes that joke again, man, before
how
the
many
first
times
break,
do we got to hear it?
Before the first break, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. All right.
Former vice president.
Look at him. He doesn't cut enough of his hair in the back of his head, though. And it just accentuates that he's balding. Somebody's got to get his haircut better. Whereas Bernie Sanders, no way, man. You want that wild and everywhere. Oh, look. Hey, they're shaking hands now right after she accused him of calling him a liar on national television. And then out comes Alvin and the Chipmunk. Oh, now there's some swagger.
Yeah, a lot of people in the audience.
Oh, with some pep in his step. Hey.
Oh, did Bernie shake hands with did Bernie shake hands with, I missed it. Did he shake Pete's hand? I didn't see if Bernie shook his hand.
No, he just shook the hand of the one next to him. Andrew Yang's the only one that went down the whole aisle.
No, but Bernie's standing next to Pete Buttigieg.
Of course they are.
Sound guy? Okay, there we go. It's awkward.
Yeah, that was kind of like Miss America, where somebody forgot their part of the script. See that guy in the audience with a white suit? You know he wanted his friends to see him. He wanted his friends to see him.
I like how they're actually introducing. I like how they're making sure they're flaming everyone that goes over. They're like, look, here is literally the sign,
the clock
that is gonna count them down, and they're all gonna run over, and no one's gonna call them out. But hey, at least it's there, right?
Oh, dude, they're coming to Biden with the risky question. Ooh. Why did you fail in Iowa? Okay.
That's such a bad just delivery. Slow energy. Ugh, not good.
He does look like he's a little short of breath, and he's a little bit tired already. He needs his Metamucil.
This is like one of those things, like again, speaking of wrestling, you'll see a guy try to go get a breath of air. It's like, dude, we just started, man.
Yeah.
Like, you're already just rehearsing the lines. Democracy, important, future of the country. It's like, dude, this is the first question, man.
Oh, great
Pete Buttigieg,
guy.
great guy and a real patriot, according to Joe Biden.
A stirring endorsement.
Oh, I like the double shot of Pete. Just see that? Watch, check your shit out. They got the
I
Pete.
saw it.
They got the Pete and Pete shot, and then you got picture in picture. You got the Pete and Pete.
Because he's a billionaire, and billionaires suck dry the countries. He's a charlatan and a liar. Oh, what did I tell you? He's going to say, oh, because he's a liar. He's a liar.
Well,
You can say that about anybody. You're a liar.
Crowd reacted.
Okay, well, Democrats call
Hold on.
Republicans
Are
liars.
they doing that thing with
Republicans
Bernie's
call...
mic again where they have it way too loud? He's like booming, echoing throughout the entire chamber. Listen. Biden wasn't, right? Was Biden booming through like that?
No, they're figuring out sound. They're figuring out their video switcher still, too. That's why they had the double shot of Pete Buttigieg.
I feel like they always have Bernie's mic too loud. He always sounds blown out. By the way, $2 super chat from Andrew Holman. Thank you very much. Biden already admitting he's gonna lose. Well, at a certain point, you have to, right? You can't just pretend you won't.
Yeah. Well, you know, Democrats are better at that, dude. They're better at bringing in young people. He's right. I hate to say that, but Republicans suck at bringing in young people. They don't perpetuate their party as well. Oh, math. He's coming at math. Or maybe Democrats' brand is sucking right now, while Donald Trump's brand is on the rise. So people are unenthusiastic for the 70-some-odd-year-old socialist, the 70-some-odd-year-old Washington veteran, Biden, and the 70-year-old librarian who wants to play socialist. Come on.
Hey, Amy Klobuchar butting in immediately. One thing I'll say about Amy Klobuchar, she does seem like one of those just people, like she will take her shot every single time. right there in the debate stage. Would anybody not want to see a Democratic socialist? She looked like no one's going to take it. Boom. I guess I'm on the stage now. Look who's answering the question. That just seems to be the kind of. I mean, she's a senator, right? It's hard to be a senator without being that kind of person. But that was hilarious, man.
By the way, if you ever want to know
it would have been her that raised her hand there. No one else. It would have only been Amy Klobuchar. Would have been like, well, I'm going to butt in here, even though I think it was. I mean, here we go. Look at this.
Hey, dude. By the way.
Well, she always boasts about the fact that Amy Klobuchar is like, I'm from a purple state or whatever like that. When polled, Republicans hate her. So, like, she's way less popular than like Pete Buttigieg with the Republicans. I'm pretty sure. So that's crap at her.
So, dude. By the way, the women that run what's called the Relief Society in the Church of Jesus Christ, aka Mormon Church, they're on this board called the General Relief Society Board, and they speak at our biannual conferences and stuff. If you ever want to know what they look like, just take Amy Klobuchar and put like a string of pearls on her. Dude, these billionaires are always plugging other people. Tom Steyer literally said, hey, the way we're going to win is the way Bernie said we're going to win.
Well, no, I mean, he's answering a question right now, talking about why they shouldn't be a Democratic socialist on the ticket. Here's the thing. Yang's raising his hand. Yang wants to get on this. I got to commend Amy Klobuchar. She took it. Yeah. I'll get her, though. She hesitated. If one of those candidates had just gone, boom, hand up. I got a big problem with that. That would have been a good moment. But you'll see Andrew Yang should get the next one here, but he's trying to butt in. But dude, jump on earlier. By the way, $2 super chat from Andrew Holman. Thank you again, man. Claude will play Peacemaker, then attack. Pretty much. That's her style, man. Like I said,
Tom
don't put anything past her.
So Tom Steyer says that he can appeal to African Americans specifically, and then brings up some data on it. He's like, I'm the only minority on stage. Good point.
Substance abuse, overdoses, suicides. What we have to do is actually get the markets working to improve our family's way of life. Instead of following GDP and corporate profits off a cliff, we should be measuring our own health and wellness, life expectancy.
I like Andrew Yang, but it does kind of seem like he rehearsed this, and I want to get through the rehearsed crap as soon as we can.
I know, it's like the stump speech again. He does fall back to the stump speech a lot. But he does have to reintroduce himself as well because he missed a debate. It's tough, right?
Hey, look, there's no comeback from the moderators. Oh, yeah, except for I just called you a liar last time.
That went away. Isn't that funny how it's just gone?
What a liar.
Warren Bernie beef.
And besides, I don't trust women that can't do their eyebrows symmetrically. Doesn't she always look angry to you? Kind of like they did to your Senate campaign before you transferred all the funds to your presidential campaign, just so you could say, I don't take corporate donations in my presidential campaign. She's a liar. A liar. I trust Pete Buttigieg's wine cave pipeline more than I do her lying. Except you're not, and that's why you lost all of the white working class and the Midwest and the swing states in 2016. Jeez. The sad thing is people are just naive enough to believe that.
I think Warren's done. I think Warren's out of the race in a few weeks.
Hey, dude, does that look like a toupee to you? Stephanopoulos. Does it look like he's got a toupee on?
I don't know.
Looks like a toupee to me.
I can't tell. Interesting that Pete Buttigieg's bold claims to have won Iowa without the votes being in hasn't really been super addressed yet.
Yeah.
I mean, I get they're in New Hampshire, moving on, right? I mean, who cares about Iowa? We're in New Hampshire now, but interesting. It's kind of a big, dramatic.
This kid looks like a Mormon missionary on his first day at the missionary training center. Like with a shirt that's slightly too big for him in the neck. This is somebody's little brother that showed up on the first day of orientation in high school.
I actually like that shot where you have everyone on stage together.
Yeah. He's looking for his notes. Look, he literally looked down for his notes and they weren't there.
Meatball Mike will be in the next debate. No Mike Bloomberg until the.
Is this going the way of 3 debates ago where it was literally unwatchable?
Oh, it's directly called out Bernie.
Stephanopoulos is funny. He's like one of the mean girls. He's like, oh, does that include Bernie? Oh, and you that say I'm better than everybody. Does that include the woman, Amy Klobuchar? Are you saying you're better than women? Ooh. It's gotcha journalism, and it's pathetic.
Dude, I swear to God, I can make a soundboard and you don't have to even be here. Just gotcha journalism and it's pathetic. Democrats are bad. Republicans wouldn't do this. I'll just run through those 3.
Oh, no, Republicans would do it too. They just wouldn't do it as well. I mean, to be honest with you, they'd do it, but they wouldn't do it as well. Democrats are 10 times better at the show and the bread and the circuses and the marketing. Nope. Because then you lose the Libertarians, and then you lose the Republicans.
Yeah, what a weird comment from Bernie. The way you win Republicans is by raising the minimum wage. A lot of Republicans argue against that. It's really weird.
Dude.
It's really
The only person that said something that made even remote amounts of sense was Amy Klobuchar and Andrew Yang so far. But Amy Klobuchar looked like she was mortified to be there, and that her hairspray nozzle broke. You know what I'm saying? And just dumped the whole can on her head. Yes, I believe healthcare is a human right, but nationalizing the system like Venezuela did isn't going to bring us there. Free market capitalism.
England did it as well. You know what I mean? Like
England's a better example than Venezuela's, and he's suggesting something worse than England's.
I'm just saying.
Jeez.
Venezuela is the only country in the world to the national.
Yeah, hey, let's be like England, where they can, arrest you for a non-violent, non-crime thought crime. 3,000 people. Do you know 3,000 people a year get arrested for Facebook posts? 3,000 people a year get arrested for Facebook posts in England.
No idea.
Let's be like England. Jeez. It is interesting, Cody. Do you remember the first debate where everybody raised their hand saying I'm for Medicare for all? And then now that everybody has had to explain it, they're either saying, oh, well, the spirit of Medicare for all, like Andrew Yang, or, oh, Medicare for all who want it, or, oh, Medicare for the people. And they're these just like bogus versions of Bernie Sanders' Medicare for all that like are basically just the status quo. Dude, this is the first time where I've seen Joe Biden having to really kind of punch up, man.
is the first like real debate I've seen. They actually are kind of moderating it, and the candidates seem to actually have disagreements with each other that are substantial. You know what I mean? The other few debates were just nothing. This is the first debate.
Dude, the only thing that's freaking me out about Joe Biden right now is his skin's the exact same color as his hair. So I don't know where his hairline is right now, and it's kind of freaking me out. You know what I'm saying?
I guess. I mean, my colors are different on my monitor. I could see it. I will say that Bernie also is Bernie's the center of this debate. Everyone's debating around Bernie right now. He feels like the front runner as far as the candidates are concerned, which is interesting.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I still think Pete Buttigieg's answer on the last question specifically was so much better. About like seriously, Bernie Sanders was trying to pitch to us. What a Republican voters want is a $15 minimum wage. Like what, dude? Yeah, Bernie is going to struggle with pulling right-leaning voters. I don't think Buttigieg is too much better, but he made a point at least. You know.
We got some super chats from Andrew Holman.
You just don't listen, man.
Oh really?
I got both those.
Oh crap! Sorry.
Home, jeez, man.
Home healthcare, yeah, it's gonna be clubbing at the Ritz, dude.
But that is starting to get to the astronomical price. Like that is kind of crazy, man. Bernie Sanders is saying he's gonna have in-home care provided to every American. Dude, that actually is pretty crazy. Like Biden should be able to push back on that and be like, dude, that is the gorillion dollars that people keep claiming Medicare for all. You've described the gorillion dollars plan, so that is interesting.
The fact is that it's going to cost Bernie's plan cost double what the taxpayers are paying for every single program we spend on
Wow.
the United States of America.
CJ
Senator Klobuchar.
Inglis asks, "What am I drinking?" It's the cheap version of LaCroix called Bellevier. It's a store version. I don't know. But my chemo medication gives me dry mouth, so I have to be drinking all the time.
Like, honestly, yeah, like Bernie Sanders Bernie Sanders on these debate stages, he has to be careful, especially with centrists like Pete and Amy looking to get some stuff. They're going to hammer him on his Medicare for because what do you think he said?
He can start just saying, that's a Republican talking point. And that's what the corporations and the millionaires and the billionaires who bought your campaign want you to say. Just like that. Oh, wow. That's like, that's not too much of bragging rights, guys. You're not, dude, he's like stoked when he gets to 48% approval rating. And so if we're 9 or 10 points above 48, you only have to be at like 57%. Like, come on, that's a failing approval rating.
Okay, I will push back on Elizabeth Warren's characterization that if you go to a doctor and they write you a prescription, I went to the doctor because they said it looked like I might have strep throat, and they wrote me so many prescriptions. I'm like, dude, what's the one that heals me? They're like, this one. I'm like, okay, I don't need the special inhaler for my cough. So I'll push back. Someone should push back on Warren and be like, until we fix the way that this we fixed the way that the pharmaceutical companies were miss me with this. Every prescription is as important as the next one. No, they aren't. A lot of them are crap. Some are really important, but not all of them, you know?
Yeah. Honeybee, or Honey Bay, says the argument is basically progressive versus centrist. Yang needs to get on the progressive side of the argument. I don't know.
I forgot the Julian Castro.
He needs to be above it all, man.
Who?
Yang.
Yang needs to jump in on healthcare. This part of the debate is definitely going to give anybody who wants to say that Andrew Yang does not know what he's talking about in healthcare. Stuff to talk about because he hasn't said anything. Oh, we have a $3 super chat from John Montez. Said, vote Yang even if it meant him being VP to Bernie?
No.
Question mark.
No.
Well, I mean, in that case, I'd be voting Bernie, right?
Yeah, we'd be voting Bernie, not Yang.
I would be really surprised. That's something. It depends on what happens. If Bernie taking on Yang is his olive branch to, because Andrew Yang is like a
to
further
sanity.
He's like more of a centrist capitalist. So I mean, it's just an olive branch to, which honestly Bernie might need someone as a running mate who'd be like that. You know what I mean? So interesting.
He never would do that. He never would do that.
Like, I don't think he will either. I'm just saying that.
Yeah. How do you feel about actually putting the live stream on ours? Afraid of getting another copyright strike?
Yeah, this might be the last stream we have for 3 months, so that's why. Sorry, guys. If you want to watch it, there's like 5 or 6 available. Every major network's doing one. Mostly we do this just to hang out with you guys. If you guys want to have even just a chat room to talk about what's going on while you're in the debate. Just kind of more fun hanging out watching with you guys and watching it on our own, I guess. Yeah, we haven't had one commercial break.
Ooh, he's defending his past with Barack Obama.
Good, he should.
Hey, CJ English says if we can get 50 likes in 1 minute, I donate $10. Hey, so if we can get 50 more likes, if we can hit 287, CJ English is going to donate $10. Rock on. I assume to Andrew Yang. So yeah, smash that like button.
Does anybody believe this right here?
Oh no, sorry, not 287. That's how many are watching. No, it was at 50. So if we can get over 100 likes, then boom, he donates $10 to Yang.
Oh, do you think? How about this? Before the second break, I want to have a plug-in for the stream so we could do like little bets with like phony currency.
Yeah, dude.
Will they talk coronavirus before the second break, or period?
No, they won't.
Period. You don't think one coronavirus question?
Maybe something peripheral where they give a bunch of BS answers.
I think a good question is, how would you, if you were president right now, what would you be doing about it? That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Well, that's why Marion H. said that Cody the Oracle and Cardin need to be debate stand-ins. So, because I think you and I would do a better job at a debate. I think Joe Rogan would do a better job at a debate. Man, she always sounds nervous.
Oh my God, Amy.
59. Oh, that was so cute. That was so boomer funny.
That's classic Amy, man. Classic Amy.
Oh, please. There was no courage. There was no courage. Pierre Defecto.
Hold on, I gotta pull something
This is
up.
a colostrum bag.
Okay.
This is a colostrum bag of word vomit.
There we go, man. There we go.
Hey, that's one that couldn't be on your little soundboard. You never would have guessed that one, dog.
You're right. I didn't think you just devolved the fart noises, but yet I stand corrected.
What? That doesn't have universal health care for all people. We pay the highest prices in all of the world. Denmark doesn't do this.
Yeah, Bernie's definitely making healthcare the move. That's it. Healthcare is going to be the. It's crazy, man. That's crazy. Oh, and we got $10 super chat from CJ English. Said BA English, hit like. Thank you very much, man. I mean, but here's the thing with Medicare for All. We've done a couple of videos talking about this. Whenever what you would actually have to go through to implement it to your average person's described, it's like 65 to 80% of people say, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Do I want everyone to have health care? Yes. Do I want to pay higher taxes and have less health care?
Bargaining.
No. Yeah, that keeps happening.
Health plans to go away. It requires the people that are bedrocks of the Democrat Party, the AFL-CIO, the huge unions, everything, to saying, no, heck no, I don't want that. Buttigieg wrapped this. It's not even mayor. There's like Buttigieg. It's like a high school football team. Oh, gosh, man. Like, can somebody really grow up in America and reach their 50s just having watched so much propaganda they believe this stuff?
I actually thought it was a really good answer from Tom Steyer. Like, Tom Steyer is actually showing why he's a billionaire right now.
Yeah.
I'm serious. He's just taken over the debate stage in the last 30 seconds.
Right after Amy Klobuchar says, we had a newcomer in the White House, and look how that turned out. If she didn't come across as the most establishment person in the room right then, I don't know who does.
Dude, I'm loving Tom Steyer, man.
Yeah, that was powerful.
Tom Steyer's bringing the heat, man. Tom Steyer's showing up to a debate ready to debate. You know what I mean?
Boom.
Like, he went down the line and said, I don't like you because this. I don't like you. It was like, it's like a half-baked, like, you're cool, but screw you. I'm not afraid.
Man. You know what? I haven't heard a lot from Andrew Yang so far. And he had a great chance right after Tom Steyer said it's the economy, stupid, to interject the importance of the freedom dividend. Yang, you got to step up, bro. You got to step up, Andrew Yang.
Well, they're ignoring him again. He's raising his hand basically the whole time, and they just don't call on him.
At this point, you just got to start screaming from the rooftops. Like it says in the Bible, man, blessed are him whose feet screameth from the rooftops.
The bigger thing is when they give him the floor, he has to do like what Tom did right there. He has to come in scorched earth. You suck, you suck, you suck. Get out of here.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why. No one's brought up the fact that I do not think a lot of these candidates handled the Iowa debacle responsibly, right? No one's brought that up? Here we go.
Well, here we go. Finally. Hallelujah.
Wow. That's one of the bigger applauds of the, reaction of the night.
Donald Trump is political chemotherapy because our political system grew cancerous. And the question that the American public is making right now is whether or not they think we need a second round of chemotherapy. And with debates like this, they think we need a second round of chemotherapy.
I like that damage control and spin by Andrew.
I was
Yang.
about going to say, yeah, it couldn't have anything to do with the fact that, yeah, you're a write-in candidate and you can't really campaign there.
That was funny. That is the biggest applause we've heard from for anything anyone said
That's
tonight.
great, yeah. Oh. Ugh.
Well, we were in Tulka Cut. I don't think it was, but it felt like one, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like it's obviously live.
So
but
here she is saying, when I become president, I want to arrest him. Oh, gosh. Yeah, she's just going to be investigating everybody, her entire presidency. How are you accountable for having lied for 30 years about your ethnicity?
It is rich, Elizabeth Warren talking accountability. It's like you were never held accountable, Bill. You were never held accountable for seemingly anything ever. Like you've gotten away with some crap.
When I started my company, I was called up by the Civil Rights Division of the County of Los Angeles and lambasted for having 3 white employees with 3 different last names: Thompson, Ellis, and Humphreys. Okay? Never mind that through divorce, it was my cousin, my mother, my father, and me. They literally called me up and said, "Why do you only hire white people?" And I'm like, I'm sorry, that's my immediate family that lives within the 4 walls of my home. And they're calling me out as a racist when I signed up to be a county vendor. So I can't hire my family without the liberal state of California and these leftist progressive mofo intersectionalists, the intern over there. You laugh because it didn't happen to you, Cody. You laugh because you don't know what it's like to have the government, after you've dumped basically your life savings into starting a company, call you up and say that you're racist. Meanwhile, that one of the #1 progressive candidates gets to fake she's a freaking American Indian for 30 years and get into an Ivy League school off of it, and there's no repercussions.
I'm very sorry you got the big bad phone call from the big bad man, but where did he touch you?
No,
man?
it was a snotty, annoying little intern.
Where did the man on the phone touch you, man? Jeez. Hey, Andrew back.
Yes,
that's a good point. He's brought that up multiple times about imprisoning. Yeah, which is you don't want to imprison former presidents. Bad look.
We don't focus on the mistakes of the leaders that are leaving office. Most Americans do not care about what a particular individual did so much as they care about their families, well-being, their community, their town. That's where Americans' focus wants. They want the American president. They want the president, of course, the American president. Sorry about that.
Ooh, that was not a good stumble from Yang. Just keep moving on. You have to pull the Biden, and don't even notice you made a mistake till like the next day.
Yeah. Yeah, that Law and Order rules. Yeah, great precedent.
I love these. I love these pre-done tweets that that they have like staffers like just waiting for videos and stuff. Like this stuff cracks me up.
Yeah. It was the Constitution that made it so he could be tried and then successfully acquitted. Like, you can't say it's unconstitutional when they followed all the constitutional rules. Like, it's just crazy. Like, There's so much you can go after Donald Trump for that you don't need to lie. So why start out with lies? And man, I got to tell you, Romney's street cred is dead. When all the socialists think you're great, there's something wrong with you, man. When the media thinks that you're awesome and makes puff pieces about you, the same media that ran you over 4 years ago. 8 years ago, I mean. Yeah, kind of like leftist secularism. Refused to have witnesses. Yeah, they wanted to have witnesses, but you wouldn't allow them to call the whistleblower Hunter Biden. See, this is why these are lies. Tom Steyer knows this.
Oh my God, man.
They're lies.
Spare
man.
me, man. Spare me.
He hasn't got away with anything. He's been slowed down for 3 years. And the American public have been annoyed.
Yeah, honestly, I've been commending Tom Steyer as of late for distancing himself from the impeachment thing. 'Cause I'm like, he backed that thing early and it blew up in everyone's face. People are gonna lie and say, "Yeah, no, trust me, impeachment's not gonna. There's not gonna be any blowback. There'll be blowback when people go to vote. I mean, trust me, that people saw what happened. So I think it's weird that Tom Steyer walked into that willingly and like, hey, remember this thing that just failed? I was on it early. It's like, I guess, dude, but like, it didn't work. Like,
so look at that. Look at that right there. They can't help themselves. They can't help talking Orange Man bad for 30 minutes. I mean, well, dude, you were trying to take away Jared Kushner's security clearance.
well, no,
and
but
that's Donald
the
Trump's
House
son. Like,
Democrats were trying to play Donald Trump Jr. and Donald Trump against each other. That's why everyone should move on and pretend impeachment never happened because no one looked good.
But this is also just like why I have such trouble like even
That was
taking
pretty funny to
Democrats
bring up.
seriously anymore. Yeah, because you guys failed. You can't even count votes in Iowa. Your impeachment took 3 years and then burnt down in flames in less than 3 weeks in the Senate.
Oh, the problem with them trying to prove that
Oh
Trump
yeah, Vindman's a hero. Please. Vindman didn't do anything cool. He went from being an obscure bureaucrat nobody knew about to being a rock star for a week.
Well, definition of cheap heat. Just, hey, Vindman, he's in the news. Hey, Biden got everyone on their feet, though. The House is rocking for Biden. Feels like you shouldn't be allowed to do that, but okay. Like, seriously, they're saying, well, we get a round of applause for the New Hampshire college team. Woo! Like, I as well have said San Dimas high school football rules right there. I was like, bizarre they let candidates do that. Everyone stand up and applaud for Vindman, but really, you know, Biden's the one talking, and everyone's standing up and applauding. So, I'm. Whoa! Now what's going on? Oh, Biden's off the rails. Biden's lost it.
But see, to be honest with you, that's what Biden's good at. That was good, solid retail politician right there. Just in front of everybody saying, hey, in a good-hearted way, bygones be bygones. That was actually good retail politicking. Sounds a lot like I can see Russia from my house.
I legitimately thought she was making fun of Sarah Palin
Sarah
there.
Palin,
I forgot that Sarah Palin said Russia from my house, not Canada from my porch. I legitimately thought that she was saying.
Actually, Sarah Palin didn't say that. That was just
No,
the comedian
but sorry,
saying
what is
it.
it?
Yeah.
Tribute. I shouldn't actually say it, but we got attributed to her. Yeah. Even though, I'm not going to lie, when I looked up how close Russia and Alaska were, I was like, damn, dude. They get really close at the tips. They get really close.
Holy crap. That's a real deal right there.
Yeah.
That Bering Strait theory of Asiatic DNA in the United States of America is actually pretty legit, man. I think she's got great hair. She should go longer with it. I think it would be very, very flattering. Give her almost a regal look, you know?
Regal.
Well, she's wearing purple. That's the color of royalty.
Amy Klobuchar, like you're saying, Amy Klobuchar, 80s like business person.
Yeah.
That's all regal to me. I knew Amy Klobuchar was going to bring that up. I always went in red districts. Okay, but nationally, Republicans can't stand Amy. She's like the bottom. Whenever they do these, like, what do you feel about the candidates? Republican or right-leaning respondents, always like Amy, bottom. People don't like her, so it's one of those talking points she falls on every time. I'm the only one. Yeah, but what does that mean, Amy Klobuchar? You're not running for Congress in Minnesota, right?
Hey, she's bringing up some street cred with these endorsements from the 3 major newspapers.
Oh, please, man. How much that cost? What a B, man.
That was a biznatch slap. Oh, Klobuchar.
Amy's feeling herself.
Dude.
Honestly, when Amy Klobuchar gets loose, starts feeling herself, like I said, any opportunity, you give her a window and she'll take it. She's growing on me as a weirdo, not necessarily as like a presidential candidate, but just kind of like a weirdo up there in the debate stage. She's kind of growing on me, man. Her strategy's interesting. I don't agree with it, but it's interesting. Amendments, man. My favorite thing ever. Bernie Sanders can say all he wants, that he's going to have bipartisan vote. Bernie, you got to sell me on how you're going to win over Republican voters. He can say all he wants. Oh, trust me, if I'm elected, they will definitely notice. But it's like, dude, like, I don't see it. I don't think $15 minimum wage is what Republican voters are looking for.
No. Do you ever watch PragerU? There's like 10 videos of why $15 minimum wage is bad.
That's a great point. Yeah, because it's one thing to say it's right-leaning. No, tell me how Bernie Sanders gets like the PragerU vote, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, there's some Democrats who probably could. Andrew Yang definitely. I think they've done PragerU things
this guy?
talking good about like Yang's UBI. So, or maybe not, but still, I think they've mentioned him. It's just, I don't know.
Doesn't this guy look like the dude at the beginning of The Incredibles 2?
That
one, the one news anchor that's like, "Hello, people. Today in the news."
You know what, Magic Mike? That Tom Steyer one earlier, that was the RKO out of nowhere from Tom Steyer. Everyone's like doing, and then Tom Steyer just comes in. We're having this debate. We always have it. It's dumb. You guys are great, but this is stupid. Hey. Daniel Henderson.
Dude, he's going to say he'd still be alive.
Why do you guys think Yang doesn't assert himself as much as people want him to during the debates? I think there's a limit to just realistically how much you can like assert yourself. Like it's very easy to come across as just a belligerent if you just keep butting in and butting in and butting in. I think the bigger thing is that it's a TV show, and they want the big TV stars on the camera the most. So they're going to try to get Bernie, Biden, Sanders on the... I always do that. I always call Bernie and Sanders two different people. Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden, Pete Buttigieg now. They want to give him screen time, man. It's for ratings, sadly. It's what I believe, at least. It's screen time. Yang doesn't draw as much as they would. Yang isn't the star. The star is Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders and Pete Buttigieg. And then Amy Klobuchar, they're all right with her. They don't love Amy Klobuchar, but they're all right with her. I mean, because like Tom Steyer is doing basically... Tom Steyer's being what a lot of people want to see Andrew Yang do, where he is taking everything. He's taking it to people. He's telling them what he thinks, but even then, how much is Tom Steyer talking, right? So like, it's look at this. Look at the stage, right? They have people in the middle they want to hear from. Even Elizabeth Warren. How much Elizabeth Warren got to say? I mean, they know who they want to hear from, and they make shit happen.
Yeah. Oh, and like fix the VA that was broken under Democrat leadership for 60 years? Yeah. Dude, they are dodging the military successes of Donald Trump. Absolutely dodging
Well, how
them.
come no one ever asked Pete what he actually did over there?
Yeah.
There's thank you, Pete. Right. It's like, would you? How come no one says, yeah, Pete, what did you do over there all those years, man?
He should, dude. They want a yes or no question, bro, and you're not giving it, which makes you look like a wiener. Cody, can you run? Can you run for political office?
Why would I want to, dude?
It's true. Hey, this is a lot more manageable of a debate, though. I do have to say this is more bearable because there's not 20 people trying to jump in with a soundbite and call Joe Biden racist.
And they are kind of debating a bit too. They're talking about each other's ideas, right? Like there's a debate going on a little bit, not great, but a little.
Yeah. Kind of like letting all those dudes out in Guantanamo Bay who ended up just fabricating more attacks on U.S. soldiers in Iraq and Afghanistan. Yeah, that's foreign to U.S. military policy. Yeah, Barack Obama didn't do that. Because Donald Trump did it, and we must find a way to say it was bad.
I don't know, Pete's answer was funny. It's like, well, it depends on the situation. It's like, well, maybe that was the same answer the Trump administration had. Well, it depends on the situation. Like in this situation, we do it. I don't. Because here's the funny thing, right? I think it's funny they're asking Soleimani questions again. Oh yeah, that happened. Of course I remembered, but I wasn't thinking about Soleimani until they brought that up.
No.
Well, dude, I still want to hear my coronavirus question. I want to hear them say, what would your response be to something like the coronavirus outbreak if you were commander-in-chief? That's topical Soleimani.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Remember when all that
Soleimani's
happened?
almost old news now.
How come they even asked them what I guess we're not Canadians, but I'm still surprised Canada didn't do much when Iran shot the plane down. Hey, Biden's firing up again, though?
Yeah, except for...
Firing up?
Now everybody respects America's military presence everywhere again. Dude, the Democrat strategy for trying to beat Donald Trump is so bad right now. You mean the Communist People's Party of China?
I have to admit, Bernie controls the narrative enough. I didn't realize how weak Bernie is in foreign policy. This answer's awful.
Yeah.
This answer's global anarchy. Like, dude, Soleimani was killed and there wasn't global anarchy.
Yeah.
They did kill Khashoggi and there wasn't global anarchy. Like, Bernie really is shockingly weak on foreign policy because I guess he just normally doesn't talk about it. But yeah, now that I think about
this is the fundamental naivete that all of the progressives and the socialists have, though. If we just sit down with these people, see, it was racism. It was white colonial racism that made him bad. And they hate us because of our colonialism. It's not because they're motherfucking psychos and evils that exist in this world. They don't think evil exists. And they don't understand. Some people just hate you because you're you. They just do.
That's not what's going on in the Middle East, dude.
What do you mean that's not what's going on in the Middle East? Sunnis hate Shias, and they have for 4,000 years because Sunnis hate Shias.
But
that's it.
That's not what's going on with America, though.
Done.
There isn't the
But we're not talking about America. We're talking about foreign policy. And you can't just sit down with these people. Oh, yeah. So you're saying our problem in World War II was that we just didn't have enough talk time and FaceTime with the Axis powers. The guy with the bad mustache and the Italian fascist. We just didn't talk with them enough, and they weren't breastfed.
Okay, remember, famously, Neville Chamberlain, the Neville Chamberlain story is pretty sad. You know, he flies over to meet with Hitler. He flies back to England, waving a giant victory. Was it the Sudetenland? I think it was that Hitler agreed to not
gave
invade.
It to him, and he said, "Peace in our lifetime."
No, but then like the war happened like a week later, and I think Chamberlain killed himself that year. I think
Neville Chamberlain, I thought, died of natural causes.
Could be wrong.
Yeah, because he was sickly in his
spreading rumors. I know you guys right. Maybe he didn't kill himself, but yeah, like he fell ill and died like months later. You know what I mean? He wasn't deathly ill when he was flying to Germany. He was when he got back and the war was declared and his entire situation blew up in his face. It just,
yeah.
Like I said, you don't have to say imagine if they did try that actually in World War II and it didn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work. And here he is saying, if we just talk with them, they'll come around because it was our racism and our colonialism. That's
not what he said
of the
at all, though.
No, but that's the insinuation of the theory behind it. Do you ever read any of their writings?
Oh my God, dude.
You can mock it, but you ever read? I'm only quoting these people in the 15 million hours of speeches I've seen them give.
Spare me, man.
So he died at age 71. And by the way, my grandpa was a wind talker, and I know all about combat troops. That's why I got high cheekbones. That's true. Endless war was the one of the tenets of the government in 1984.
You know what's funny? If somebody gets elected president on the idea of taking our troops out of the Middle East, they'll be the third consecutive president who ran on pulling our troops out of the Middle East. Isn't that crazy? Well, that's crazy. Obama in 08 ran on pulling us out of Afghanistan. Trump in 16 ran pulling us out of Afghanistan. Imagine if it happens again, dude. Oh my God, dude. That would, or I think Iraq for Trump, right? But oh my God, dude.
We saw what happened when that happened.
What a world. What a world, man. What a world. 12 years, 16 years, people running. I'm pulling us out of the Middle East. And they win. They don't do it. Oh.
If I know him well, say his name, Biden. I know him so well, I forget his name, but it's...
I'm so tired of Turkey being our ally. It's like, dude, Erdogan is not the ally of America. Sorry. Nothing. I don't think he hates America and wants to invade us. It just isn't our ally. He definitely operates pretty autonomously. He's like, I don't care what you guys want at all.
Okay, how do you deal with terrorism? If you say the only thing we should be doing in Afghanistan is dealing with terrorism, how do you deal with terrorism without having a military base there, bruh? Answer that question.
Dude, they spend a lot of time talking about. I guess I like hearing about foreign policy because it is really important, obviously. But they spend a lot of time talking about really abstract, weird, or specific weird things, right? Like, would you have done X or Y instead of just what are your plans, right? Oh my God, Pete! I always forget Pete Buttigieg speaks like solely in cliches. Like
Yeah.
Pete Buttigieg is just like he has to like shake his magic 8-ball of cliches before he can answer. Like he's like definitely one of those big brain Harvard types, right?
He said obviously the vice president made the wrong decision. Then be fighting words from Buttigieg. Restore the credibility of the country. Dude, our most important allies in the Middle East love us again. You kidding me? Yeah, restore our credibility with who? The only other people that send foreign aid with us to other places?
Pete Buttigieg said he accused Donald Trump of the moat full of alligators. Actually, Andrew Yang is the one who wants the moat full of alligators.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I wonder why Andrew Yang isn't, because honestly, I like that idea better for multiple reasons. One, first of all, revitalizing the Rio Grande is a great idea, and we should do it, you know?
Do you know who the only ally that showed up to help when the New Orleans levees busted?
Australia.
No. There was a very large aircraft carrier from the Israelis that was already in international waters.
You know what?
It showed up before FEMA did and was pumping fresh water into New Orleans with a desalinization pump made by General Electric.
Exactly. You know why though? You know why? We probably owned the boat. We probably owned
And they love us right now. Yeah.
It's because they're probably renting all of that stuff from the United States. So
No, not all this stuff. Like half.
Yeah, we just gave them the money to buy it from us.
We just gave them the money to buy it from our corporation. And Iron Dome, we made it.
Yeah. I would hope they would come, man.
Yeah, they better. But hey, at least they did. How much money do we give to Mexico every year? How much money do we give in foreign aid to every country in the Eastern Bloc? And they don't come to our aid.
Multiple countries do help. Just you don't pay attention.
What do you mean I don't pay attention? I am up on things.
Okay, I'm sure. By the way, we're at 63 minutes, no break. They always do this. Why? Let me know in chat. Do you guys like these 75-minute marathon segments, or would you prefer some, not even commercial breaks, just breaks where they can just cut to the panel for a minute away? Like it gets exhausting when we go on. Like it's like a feature-length film, and they haven't taken a break for anything. I don't need to hear from Doritos, right? I don't need the Nissan sponsored halftime, but just a minute. Okay, we're gonna take a 3-minute intermission and be right back. I mean, do that once every half hour or so. Take a minute break. It's just. It gets exhausting, man. Like I tune out. About 70 minutes-ish, and then I'm out until the next break. Like Steyer's talking right now, I'm not listening to a word he's saying. He abandoned diplomacy. Wow. We want to have allies? It is funny. You know when the one thing about these debates that does happen, when you hear someone, I guess you could refer to it as gaslighting themselves, but I just people will kind of just talk themselves up, and on debates every now and then I'll turn away for a minute and turn back. It's like we have no allies and we abandoned diplomacy. It's like, well, that's not quite true. We have allies and we still obviously we literally have diplomats, right? Like it's kind of hyperbolic, right?
And what do diplomats do? These are all the pansies.
But it's part of, you kind of talk yourself into it. You don't start there, right? But you go 75 damn minutes after taking 1 minute to take a break, and this is the kind of stuff you talk yourself into. I don't understand the logic behind it. And even then, it gives them a chance to sell spots.
See, Joe Biden's trying to spin his entire 40 years of being an establishment military-industrial complex senator into all of a sudden this dovish, progressive warrior. like you can't just turn around 40 years of saying yes to the military-industrial complex and act like you didn't have anything to do with it. If he's your partner, why hasn't he endorsed you?
That is a weird story.
Like when you say we're going to draw a red line in Syria. Let's keep that commitment. Let's go over there. Oh, wait, we didn't.
I don't know, because Barack Obama doesn't want to go to war with. Barack Obama's foreign policy. It's not even say Barack Obama. It's a doctrine of American foreign policy, which is the military isn't really anywhere, but we have a presence everywhere through drones and Obama would have less troops on the ground, but a lot more Black Ops, CIA stuff, a lot more drones. Drones, you can drone strike a country the CIA is operating in. You don't have to actually be at war. It's a different style of foreign policy. I don't like it because it leads to killing a lot of innocent people because you don't have those boots on the ground making judgment calls.
No, it's a bad idea.
It is. It's all. I mean, like, dude,
John McCain said this well. He said the only way to end terrorism is to capture terrorists and interrogate them. That's it. And that requires boots on the ground, not drone strikes. That's the best quote I've ever heard. You need boots on the ground, capturing terrorists and interrogating them. And I don't care if they're sneakers on the ground with the special forces, boots on the ground with the army, or like those cool little weird helicopter plane thingies or whatever, picking up with like the little crane that they get the Minions in Toy Story. You know, I don't care how they get them, but that's the only thing that works.
Talking about like a Chinook?
The Osprey,
right?
It's called the Osprey.
The Osprey. Isn't the Osprey? I thought that was a VTOL plane.
Isn't the Osprey that one helicopter plane looking thing?
I thought it was the VTOL plane. It could be it.
Well, VTOL stands for vertical takeoff and landing.
Yeah, but it means it's a plane.
Yeah, it's the tilt rotor aircraft in action.
Yeah, it's a plane though.
The Boeing V-22 Osprey. Yeah, let's not worry about ISIS and the people that want to fly planes into our buildings. Let's not worry about those guys, and let's fight the pseudoscience and the.
No, but I will admit. Hold on. So first break. Andrew Yang has had a. When he got to speak, a couple answers were okay. That one answer when he fumbled, and it was awkward. He was like, "Oh, I mean, obviously that president. Sorry, I didn't like that at all." It hasn't been a great debate for Yang, admittedly. Really,
well, he
hasn't.
also needs to speak up, man.
He needs. He's
speak up, Andrew.
He says a lot of the same things he always says, and the biggest thing is he doesn't have that. Tom Steyer has brought this passion and intensity.
He's bringing his A game,
and I think that's what Yang is lacking is just that passion, that fire on the stage there. Because Tom Steyer went like down the line and called out everyone one by one by one. Like
I haven't
feel
seen
Steyer's presence in this debate. You haven't really felt Yang's presence.
When's the last time you saw that?
What
Tom Steyer did actually totally reminds me of what Ted Cruz did in 2016, where he called out the media and he said, "This is why nobody trusts the media. Here's 3 moderators who've never voted in a Republican primary," which is another way to say that they're registered Democrats. And you said, "Rand Paul, why are you at this? Donald Trump, are you a superhero villain?" And he lists all of the bad questions that had been given to each one of the candidates up until him, and he was like 8th. So he remembered 8 different questions asked of each one of his opponents and then called out the media for the bad questions. Now, in that case, Senator Ted Cruz was calling out the media, but in this case, Tom Steyer was calling out each one of his opponents. That was a strong answer, I thought. Yeah. And it was unrehearsed. That's the other thing. Is that was a very unrehearsed. It seemed unrehearsed.
At that point, who cares, right? If we think it was unrehearsed, then it was, regardless of whether it was or not. No, I mean, but that's why Tom Steyer, and as much as we did a video today just clowning on Michael Bloomberg for being a moron, but that's the thing, he isn't a moron. Michael Bloomberg's the final boss come Super Tuesday. Before we get to Super Tuesday, Tom Steyer, there's an X factor to Tom Steyer. I mean, there's something about. You have to think there's a lot of millionaires. There's a lot of people worth tens of millions there really isn't that many billionaires. You know what I mean? Like, I understand some people make a lot of money because they're fortunate. Billionaire, man, you've done something right. There's something weird about you where you've made $1 billion. So don't sleep on the Tom Steyers. Don't sleep on the Michael Bloombergs. I think Tom Steyer has a chance of coming in second in South Carolina. I really do. I wouldn't, if Tom Steyer won South Carolina, I obviously wouldn't bet on it. I wouldn't be surprised. I would say, yeah, he's put in the work in that state. He's been there campaigning way before anyone else. Now, I think part of it was he realized, I need to learn in Iowa. I don't know what's exactly going on yet, but I'm going to circle South Carolina. By the time we get there, I'll be ready. So, now, I'm not a Steyer stan, unless he pays me. I'm just kidding. But it is interesting watching him on the debate stage tonight. As I've seen him on more and more debates, I can start seeing more and more about this guy definitely has something to him. He's got a energy and a passion to him that on the debate stage tonight, we've said it came through tonight big time. That passion, energy, I'm assuming the way Tom Steyer made himself a billionaire is kind of on stage tonight. So good debate for him. Bernie's been, I think Bernie got not exposed, but Bernie is weak on foreign policy. He doesn't have a lot of great specifics. And the other candidates hammered him on healthcare. Joe Biden brought up great points. Like, at a certain point, I do agree, though. Well, how are we going to pay for it? It's a good question, but it starts getting old. But was it Bernie Sanders rolled out the red carpet for the $1 ultra Medicare for all, which is weird. It just, obviously, I don't think he can deliver that. Maybe you could work towards that. You can't start there. I don't think even he would. I think even he, in a intimate one-on-one interview setting, will acknowledge, well, we can't start there. You're one. And I don't know. It's it's interesting. I don't know. And then Joe Biden, Joe Biden should have got flagged. Should have got 15 yards for commanding everyone to stand up. Like, that's such baloney, man. Everybody stand up and clap for Colonel Vindman. Me, really, is what he's saying. Everyone stand up and clap while I'm talking. It's ridiculous. You're allowed to do that. Like, seriously, why isn't he allowed to say, let's get a round of applause for the great Kobe Bryant. What an amazing life he lived. Like, it's ridiculous that he was able to do that and get away with that without them saying, excuse me, Mr. Biden, can you keep it on subject and at least talk about the debate? Like, don't command. Like, I think in general, I'm pretty sure it is. I think calls to action are legitimately against the rules. You're not allowed to direct the audience to do something, right? Because otherwise, actually, no, Yang's done that in the past. It should be against the rules because it's a cheap way to manufacture interest in you. So yeah, that.
Are you saying no to cheap heat, Cody?
Basically, yeah. That's exactly what it was. What Joe Biden did is the equivalent of when you see somebody just write some weird, meaningless tweet about whatever the trending hashtag is. That's what he did. Yeah. Joe Biden's like, Vindman's,
you mean like Kamala Harris's entire
today.
Twitter feed?
Cheer for him. It's like, it's just like, dude, I'm sure, like I said, Joe Biden should have got 15 yards. Yeah, give him the full 15-yard personal foul on that one. That was ridiculous, man. I don't know, but I guess it is allowed. Like I said, thinking back, there has been calls to action. It just shouldn't be allowed. You should not be able to do that. Such a ridiculous way of just getting support you don't actually have. And here's the other thing, too, right? Another reason why I don't like the marathon 80-minute segments, because I'd rather have multiple 90-minute breaks than like these 7-8-minute breaks. Like, all right, guys, get ready for the next marathon 85. Blows my mind.
Wait, you don't like sitting here for 85 minutes? Hey, so tell me, what's the watchability? Oh, they're coming back. Scale of 1 to 10, how watchable is this compared to previous?
They're getting better. The debates are getting better.
Okay. Jeez, man, this is such just a club of people that fake they care about the locals and are going to go back to their New York apartments congratulating each other about how much better they are than the constituents they just faked that they represent. Well, no, so did Andrew Yang.
Oh, Caesar English with $2 super chat for Montana. Thank you very much, dude.
Well, what do you do once you've harvested your meth?
I mean,
You're
Yang,
now
Yang
possessing
also
it.
is for decriminalization of all drugs. It makes sense to decriminalize.
Yeah,
It
I know,
really
but
does.
his answer was very clouded. Ah, corporations.
Hey, Pete, you better
bad.
watch your back when you walk into your car tonight. Yeah, accountability for people who lied about pharmaceutical stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. That was actually a good answer. My little brother came up with a good answer.
Ooh. There we go. To Yang.
So let's make more beds. One Hellfire missile pays for all those beds.
That's true, but
There.
or just incentivize.
Dude, just say that. Just say, dude, let's make more beds. One Hellfire missile pays for all those beds. Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I know this, but the delivery is not good here, man. It's weak delivery again.
Oh, another lethal pause.
It's the second one in this answer.
Oh, Yang, come on, buddy. Good.
It wasn't a great answer though, delivery wise. Like he just didn't come across
it
great
was a
there.
good answer, but he didn't come across as strong as he needed to. Ooh, throwing your dad under the bus for politics. Woo!
I didn't know Amy Klobuchar was a prosecutor.
Oh, yeah, they're all were lawyers if they were senators first. I think every single one of them that's a senator had their Juris Doctorate.
Even Yang, as far as people on stage, even Yang
Yeah.
got his law degree.
It's like Bernie even, I think, got his Juris Doctorate. I'm going to look it up right now.
I don't think he does. You know, that's the one thing in general, though. I notice Andrew Yang, even when he's really on and doing really well, when he's at his best, he's really laid back and kind of, you know, jokey and jovial, and that's his like. When
He
he
literally
shines.
should have just said, then let's make more beds.
But what I mean, though, is
like
I
he
think-
should have just said humanity first.
But-
Let's
but-
make more beds.
Yeah, but he's
one
lacking
Hellfire missile.
The passionate edge that he doesn't come out with like that really hard passionate edge, which I think plays well in the debate
He
stage.
does in other moments, but he hasn't
No,
today. yeah.
When Yang's at his best is when he's like, oh, well, you know, like, obviously we can't do that, but, you know, that's when he's at his best. That's not really the temperament for a debate stage. He doesn't really have those moments. Like, I crack up, there's this guy in ESPN, he's a former quarterback, Dan Orlovsky, and it's hilarious. Whenever he starts talking, he's so intense. He's the only person whose voice is booming and echoing off the walls, and he's not yelling. Just very, like, Tom Steyer kind of did that earlier on. Some people have that. And Yang, that's not when he's at his best. I think he has to either work on that or find a way of working what he does well. But you know what I mean? He doesn't get a chance to shine on the debate stages. And it's because I think that laid back, calm, chill dude, you can't necessarily be that on the debate stage always. Or he needs to embrace that and be that the whole time, you know? He needs to Bill and Ted it up there, but it's tough.
Yeah. Okay, that's... Oh, you've been on the right side of them for a long time. Yeah, our media's unbiased. He felt good getting that off his chest. He's been holding that in for 30 years. Oh, please stop it. The NRA is the American people. It's the National Rifle Association. The NRA is a puppy when it comes to the money put into politics by corporate donors. Cody, can you throw up the amount of time each guy's gotten? Do we have that one again?
I don't, but I'll have to pull it up. I'm trying to find it, actually. I didn't find it earlier. I don't know. I mean, it is the typical boring rhetorical argument. Because you have to, like, an assault weapon isn't a real thing. I guess it is, but, like, there has to be a legal definition for assault weapon. And if the legal definition for assault weapon is what the conventional definition for assault weapon is, then most, like, what they actually call an assault rifle is illegal. You cannot sell those in this country for the most part. I take that back. But, like, very rarely you can. They're hard to sell. Like, what's technically just designated as an assault rifle, not by the government, but by people like, you know, like militaries, and they're looking at their weapons, you already can't buy. So, like, it really depends on what they define as assault weapon. And then what generally happens is they'll define something as an assault weapon that is, for example, like SBRs, I think it's short-barreled rifle, I think is what it stands for, or illegal. Like, they have an idea, if it's too small, it can be concealed and carried or too compact.
Did you hear what Biden just said about the guns you were mentioning?
Huh.
He wants to get rid of the loophole that makes it so they can't be sued for the carnage used by a gun. Well, so if a mentally ill person uses a Browning, should be able to sue Browning.
Andrew Yang already backed away from that because there's a lot of things that don't make sense about that. Like, for example, as I've said before, there's
what about suicides?
Well, no, there's weapons in this country that were manufactured by, like, governments or, you know, like, they're manufactured in countries by state armories that don't exist anymore. Yeah. Or at least contracted by a lot of weird things. But there's, like, now, obviously, people aren't using souvenir war rifles in these shootings. Point being, though, what if someone does use that in a robbery and kills somebody? Like, what do you do with a weapon that was manufactured in World War II in England?
By the way, so all these stabbings, are we going to sue the knife companies? For all of these chokings, are we going to sue the parents that created the person that choked them? Like, this is stupid.
Well, no, but I mean, the idea is
it's just dumb.
The idea is it's weird. I'm just saying is that, like, there's reasons why. It's because we can't feasibly. You can't do it. What if it's a company from another country, right? What if a German weapon is used? Like, are we going to send Germany the bill? It just politically isn't feasible to enforce it. I guess we're at the gun portion of the show, though, of the debate, where they're gonna.
We're asking you a question.
Hold on, though. Violence problem is a good answer from Warren. It's true. It's just violence is the problem. You know, we can talk about the weapons, but the violence is concerning.
She literally is just saying something memorized. Will Chris Christie come out and say, "Oh, here's the memorized speech"?
I forgot Chris Christie.
Remember when Chris Christie, like, basically saturation bombed Marco Rubio into embarrassment?
I don't remember much about Chris Christie. I got to be honest. I'm trying to find this freaking talk time. I'm not seeing it anywhere, man.
I think it's on 538.
I pulled it up though. It's just not here. I just don't see it.
Yeah, the New York Times didn't do it for this one. Oh, please. Assault weapon means anything to these people. It's like saying, oh, we're okay with free speech, but just got to stop hate speech. Oh, and by the way, by hate speech, we mean anything that we don't like. they're basically going to say, oh, we just want assault rifles off of the street. Oh, by the way, assault rifle means any rifle we don't like.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I mean, like, dude, technically, what you technically define assault rifles are, those are basically banned. You can own some if, like, you pay for, like,
You pay, like, a couple grand in
No, but there's
fees
certain weapons that count under the National Firearms Act that you're able to transfer still. But they're fully automatic, but it's expensive and difficult, and you don't have a lot of them. But, like, yeah, select fire intermediate cartridge rifles are not, like, just something you could buy. Like, those are basically illegal. You can get them, but, like, they're not easy to obtain.
Jeez. Yes. It's probably one of the single biggest attractive factors towards people of Donald Trump. CJ English, man, telling people to smash the like button. I'm loving this guy.
Hey, I'm gonna pull a speaker now. I don't know what it is, man. It's funny. Like, normally I can pull those things up, but is this it? Also, sometimes they won't update their all their metadata correctly, so they'll just say weird stuff. I'm on their website. I'm not seeing it, man. I'll find it. Give me a minute. Found it. There we go. Sorry, guys. My Google skills are failing me for a while here. Take a look at that. Bernard's been on the defensive. Andrew Yang, though, getting pummeled once again. It has
here we
just
go.
been a bad debate for Yang. It really has.
Dude, he got 7 minutes in one of these debates. He's over, 60% done with the debate already? And he's only hanging out at 4 minutes and 26 seconds?
Biden's just going off, man. Biden's off the rails again. I don't know what he's talking about anymore. He's just off the rails.
Well, he actually is making sense right now, but people don't understand what Casey is. It was a secondary Roe versus Wade lawsuit that determined basically abortion rights.
Why is he talking about that right now is what I mean.
Well, yeah, he's not talking in layman's terms.
Oh, hold on. I have a good reason why. He just surpassed Sanders in talk time. So he filibustered long enough to get ahead of him in talk time and then move on. Yeah. Look, it's like, why are we relitigating these things? Like, yeah, he was talking about, like, old court rulings. Like, what are you talking about? Dude, move on.
Dude, I don't get Democrats. Maybe people in the chat can help me out with this too. I don't understand Democrats' obsession with abortion. There's not a single conservative that doesn't see its necessity in certain situations of rape, incest, mother's life, so on and so forth. But what is their obsession with literally being able to preserve as though it's some kind of affirmative good, as though it's some kind of great moral imperative that we must give a woman the ability to decide the day before she gives birth that, you know what, this might make me, I want to get my PhD instead. We can kill this baby in my stomach.
I have a
like
but here's
what,
the thing.
what is their obsession with preserving that quote right, especially in the view of how dare you even think about having a rifle that I classify as an assault rifle, even though it's not, because you could potentially stop a beating heart with that rifle.
Honestly,
there's no intellectual honesty.
The way you just described it, I think that I understand why they don't, but dude, like, I feel like, hey, can I hear my libertarians in chat? I feel like libertarians are like, dude, you should be able to abort a baby up till the minute it's born. Because the more I think about it, I'm like, you know what? The freedom angle of like,
No, I get it, but then just admit that it's infanticide,
No, but
and then
just-
let us have our free gun range.
but it's just a, well, no, what?
like because then the same, because you cannot
The
apply
Second
the
Amendment
same.
already exists, though.
No, but we've restricted it so much.
It has been infringed, and that is bad.
It has been infringed
But
in a way
yeah,
that
but-
abortion has not been infringed.
I agree that logically that should be the same argument. You should be able to own whatever. I should be able to own a tank, and I should be able to board a baby 5 minutes before it's born.
No, like,
'Cause I'm an
seriously.
American, goddammit. I am honestly.
I would be on board with that.
I'm on board with that.
If you would allow me to own a mother freaking tank, I'll allow you your abortion.
I don't say cruel,
And it is
but
cruel, but it's
morbid.
It's consistent. It's
very morbid,
It's
World.
intellectually consistent. Verum Teray says, straw man, Cardin. Please, BS. That's what somebody says whenever they don't know how to articulate
you
the
do
counter
straw
argument.
man a lot.
So how is that a straw man? You literally just confirmed what I said by saying it is intellectually consistent to say, if I get a goddamn tank, I get to abort a baby before it's born.
Because most people that are pro-abortion don't feel that way. It's a minority opinion. I look at it as like an extreme, like to me, and this is no disrespect. but
Anthony
yeah.
Gambone says, how have gun rights been infringed? If you don't get that, Anthony, my brother, then words have no meaning. Words literally have no meaning.
There literally is some restrictions, right? Like
Some restrictions. Come to California. You need a license to buy ammo. You have to wait 30 days in order to be able to get a gun.
It depends.
You have to take these absurd amounts of classes and classes and classes. We don't
that's a
require you to
state
get
thing.
classes and classes and classes and classes to go get an abortion.
That's a state thing, not a federal thing. It's state. Federally, for the most
Still,
part,
it's
there's
the
not as
Second
many.
Amendment being infringed upon by the state.
Okay, but that's a state's rights issue, and I think
And
states,
so is abortion in
but
many
I think
ways.
states have a right to do that. That's states' rights.
Okay,
issue.
so do states have the right to outlaw abortion?
Sure.
Actually, technically,
why not?
That's
States,
dicey.
States should have the right to do
They
anything
can
they want.
regulate how it is administered, which then becomes an HHS problem, and that's a complicated answer. but-
I'm pro human rights and I'm pro states' rights. If states want to make weird laws, leave the state. You're gonna live there.
So, I mean, I'm seeing Jason Farrell say all life is precious until you're born. Okay, that's a totally different argument. That's the Chris Christie argument against conservatives, which I very much agree
But
with.
the law protects life almost in all cases, always.
200 years from now, we will be looked upon as barbarians that slaughtered children as a form of contraception instead of just giving out contraception.
But I don't know, man. Like,
Yes! We will be perceived as barbarians.
I don't know.
By our ancestors, the way that we perceive the people that own
I
slaves
think
as barbarians.
that's citation needed.
Okay, yeah. We'll have to live for 200 years before we can get that citation.
So I don't know. I could see that not being the case, though.
Taurus said, sorry you guys are done, lost a sub. Sorry, brother. Taurus Fire, we'll miss you, brother. Anthony Gamboni says, I don't know Cali's gun laws. Basically, anything they've ever suggested, bro, then you've got our gun laws. You have to see their point of view. Yes, I do, and that's why I'm asking. Like, all I'm asking for here is what's the obsession? Like, what is the obsession?
Well,
with
I don't know. Why do you? Do you ever think maybe it's a
Okay.
perceived obsession by you? Everything. Hold on, man. You ever stop and say maybe it's a you problem? Remember think about that? It's a you problem, man. Maybe everyone else doesn't have the problem. Maybe you do.
Panzer Shrek says Cardin's right. Tom says Cardin's right.
Hey, you know what, man? It's funny. Funny response. Digging for reinforcement. Isn't that a pretty funny way to respond to something like that?
Hey,
Perhaps
I
you
love
have
the
problem.
confirmation
Perhaps
bias.
you have the
I
problem.
am on board with the confirmation
Perhaps
bias.
it's your problem. Exactly. I feel like every time they pan to the wide shot, Yang's raising his hand. Like literally
Yeah.
every time they pan. I mean, look, we have it on screen. He's barely spoken. Him and Steyer, who they, by the way, have on the edges, which is no coincidence. Yes, they don't get asked questions. Tom Steyer's coming with the passion, though. He is. He's coming with that passion that we're not seeing from Yang, unfortunately. But, like, there definitely seems to be... Yang has... It's a pattern now. What is the 7th debate? He just doesn't... He doesn't get going. I don't know what it is, but he definitely has to figure that out, what it is. He doesn't get into his groove and get going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so diverse you don't need a color television to watch half these debates anymore. That was a Babylon Bee headline, literally like 2 weeks ago before the last debate.
Still the Tom Steyer's the one.
Steyer's the adult in the room right now.
Exactly,
Man.
he's holding people to account. He's taking it serious. Wow, what do you know?
Which is like everything Democrats and like they hate. Just look at the 3 biggest social media profiles, 3 biggest Democrat social media profiles, and they're always ripping on the very things that have created growth.
Who cares, dude? No one's on Twitter.
What do you mean nobody's on Twitter?
It's like single-digit percentage of like people, and most Twitter users are lurkers. They don't post.
Okay, fine.
Serious, man.
Fine, you win, Cody. You win.
Dude,
you
do you have any idea what they say in Neopets chat rooms? Dude, you have any idea RuneScape 07 trade chat, what they say about Bernie Sanders? It's like, I get it, man, but like it's very specific. Yo, last time I was in Stormwind and trade chat, dude, they were talking all kinds of mad stuff about...
Dude, they're asking right after Tom Steyer brought up race about the black police officer in Buttigieg's town.
Oh, they're going to press him on that?
Yeah.
I like how people are so reluctant to draw the parallel that, wow, why did Pete Buttigieg do so well in Iowa? Because, like, Pete Buttigieg does basically 0% in African Americans, low single digits in Hispanic. Like, by and large, the majority of Pete Buttigieg supporters are white, so he would perform better in the whiter states, which stands to reason. Why people are like, oh, well, this is crazy, huh? How come Pete Buttigieg is good in Iowa? It's like, because that demographically it breaks. For a party that loves talking demographics, they refuse to talk demographics with Pete Buttigieg in Iowa. It's like, that's why he did well, man. I don't know. It is funny, though. Hey, Pete Buttigieg is adopting the legalized marijuana. Hey, what does it say in the Bible about legalizing marijuana? Is that in the Bible?
Yeah, it's in the Bible. Hey, it's in the Book of Mormon. It says there were many herbs in the land that were good for human healing and consumption.
Nice.
Boom shakalaka. We got weed in the Book of Mormon, dog.
Okay, well, he's... Yeah, what does Pete say to that? He tried to lie, and they said, no, you're lying to us. And he's like, well, you got me. Like, what does he say? I don't know. Pete's funny, man. Okay. I will get on the moderator a little bit for that. It's a pretty leading question. Was that a substantial answer? Like, oh, yes, my opponent answered this question beautiful. But it was a crap answer, so I'm not going to. Hey, you know what, though? Pete Buttigieg had to stammer and stutter. Not stammer and stutter, but he had to talk for so long to piece together that answer. He's now the leader in talk time, so good for Pete. Yeah, Brian Hernandez. I think you're talking about the Harlem video. That was really cool. Yeah, we definitely saw that. We talked about it in one of our streams, and I think one of our videos. It's really cool, though. It is pretty funny. Okay, we ain't talking about race. What do you have to say, Mr. Buttigieg? All right, Mrs. Warren, what do you have to say about... That's what I want to hear from, man. I'm pretty sure when Tom Steyer was bringing that up, he meant we need to hear more from Pete Buttigieg and Elizabeth Warren. Oh, my God, man. I think our,
Actually, it's not that they
our
couldn't.
YouTube stream
This is also the
getting
soft
to you
big-
guys late because of the YouTube delay. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the soft bigotry of revisionist history. To say that blacks couldn't buy homes until 1965 before, the white savior Congress
I don't
came in
think
and
those
passed
words
the law
work that way, man.
is... What do you mean those words don't work that way? She's basically saying African Americans
Soft
couldn't buy...
bigotry of revisionist history?
Yeah, because it's usually called the soft bigotry of low expectations.
I know that. I've heard that saying.
So
I
yeah.
got that cliche in the board. What is the revisionist history part?
When she's revising the history, there were plenty of people.
Oh, 1 second.
It's not like the African American community was completely incapable until, Elizabeth Warren's friends came in and fixed stuff. No, it's that they were prohibited through redlining, which was invented by her party. Switch to consumer spending. Switch to 72% of new jobs go to women. Oh, okay. Take up more time.
That was
Don't
an all right answer by Yang He should talk
Yeah.
longer. And even then, watch Steyer. He's going to come with the finger points and the passion and the energy. And we got to do this. And I'm going to do that. I know it's not Yang's style, but, dude, it does play well on TV. Like, it does suck that it's a televised event and you have to be a TV character. But Steyer's a TV character, man.
I am full reparations. Dude, that's a soundbite. He's stealing the sound bites.
Oh, I didn't hear that story. Oh my God, Joe Biden's like, what, dude? Leave me alone. There's something kind of disgusting about two old white guys arguing over who black people like more. Isn't it kind of weird? I like Tom Steyer, but it's just like weird. Like there's two old white guys who are like, no, dude, black people like me way more than they like you. No, you don't even know, dude. It's like, dude, what are you guys doing? Like this is weird. This is like awkward. Like, I think Bernie finally caught on. It looks it's just awkward. It's weird. Like, I don't care. I don't care how many black people like Tom Steyer. Like what are they talking about, dude? I love how like they get to such talking points. Remember we had a gigantic discussion on the stage way back in the far distant 15 minutes ago when all the candidates outlined how they supported decriminalizing drugs. Ergo, ending the war on drugs. Then Bernie Sanders, we ought to end the war on drugs. Like, we established this, man. We literally just talked about ending the war on drugs. I would say the decriminalization of all drugs would be ending the war on drugs. I don't know. It's just me. I think Pete Buttigieg, Mr. Midwest Christian conservative, really, saying that, like, I think that we should legalize marijuana. I think we're there, man. I think we're there. It's just that's the talking point, you know?
Why couldn't they get financing? Oh, was housing hard to get because of redlining imposed upon them by a Democratic president in the FHA and, 40 years of Democrats supporting and voting for it? Was that why?
Biden's losing it. Biden's losing it. You can already hear it.
Oh, we got to stop taking the black community for granted. What do you mean? How are you taking it for granted?
You were literally just arguing with Tom Steyer over like, oh, dude, my black sport is way bigger than yours.
Yeah.
Like, dude, what the hell is this? What's even going on at this point in the debate? It's like,
yeah, I bet you these guys, when they walk down the street,
why is Yang's strategy of just like, why don't we just try to help everyone? Like, it's like it's a great way of
these guys
addressing
are in
a
the
lot of this stuff.
background of music videos, and they got an apartment in the hood, and everybody
Well,
loves
remember,
them.
Pete
and-
Buttigieg recently got
you know.
criticized for literally. There's someone on Twitter. People were saying, "Oh, look, like all the African American supporters right behind Pete in his rally," and someone on Twitter was like, "Yeah, that's me in the picture," and they kept pulling me away from my friends and making me stand behind Pete. They do that stuff, but it's just weird. I don't get it, man. I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, I guess I sort of get the jaded, soulless pandering angle of it, but just like, why would anyone think anyone wants to see that? Like
it's one thing to say,
you know what's,
African-American
but it's just
community
crazy.
has more
Like,
hope
what
in
always,
my program.
but what always bothers me when they talk about this is that they act like treating people like decently and being fair and level with them is some concept that applies to like. It's like, what do you know? Almost every single person wants you to show up, be honest and fair, and work with them. And then, by and large, they'll work with you as well. It's like, it's ridiculous that they talk about groups of people like, well, like they're these monoliths. It's like, dude, your average human being wants someone to come, look them in the eyes, legitimately sell them what they care about them, and then try to help. That's all they want. That's all they get. Even if you fail, if they think you wanted the help and you tried and you didn't come through, most people can live with that. But it's crazy. They have to they're not going to do that. So they have to just talk in rhetorical circles for like 20 minutes. And then they get in. You know what? It's a great way of it's. I bring this up a lot, but I think, like you said, I think it was Einstein, whoever said this, but this idea is really true. I guarantee you Einstein didn't even come up with it if they attribute it to him. The idea that if you really understand a subject and you really understand an answer, you can give it very briefly, a couple sentences. If you really get it, you can explain it to anyone. Listen to the way these politicians talk about race. They're like 15-minute answers. They go on forever. They just ramble and ramble and ramble and ramble. They don't come through with anything because they don't know what they're talking about. When they know what they're talking about, it's one of the problems Yang has. They ask Yang a question, he actually knows what he's talking about. He answers in like 3 lines because he can sum it up pretty well. And then they say, well, moving on, I guess. That was a pretty good answer from Yang. He doesn't filibuster for 9 minutes about anything. Just, this and that. And it's just crazy. Like, you just look and they just fumble for minutes at a time. Oh, Bernie was expecting a pop and he didn't get it. Interesting. He was expecting that to be a layup and he didn't get a response. He kept digging till he found the one. That's interesting.
Like UBI.
But isn't it possible?
Speak up, Yang.
Isn't it possible to acknowledge that certain communities face certain problems? However, generally helping everyone's the best way to get around it, and we can obviously have some.
That's actually a really good point, Cody.
Is it really
certain communities face certain problems, but a general approach is best for everybody.
And then guess what? If we find that our general approach is lacking in certain areas, those can be addressed later. But they always have to act like, nope, everybody in this one community has the same problem all the time, always. So we have to. It's doesn't make any sense.
Dude, Biden is crushing.
You know who would say that? You know who would say that? Somebody who's not a member of a community and doesn't understand it. We just assume they all are the same and all act and have the same problems. It's just weird. That's always the tone they take. It's always the same tone. And it's like, what are you talking about, man? I don't get it.
Well, what they're talking about is if you actually study the psychology of public speaking, generally the person that speaks the most is considered the most knowledgeable. And at the end of the day, we're trying to pitch ourselves as the most knowledgeable and competent person to run the United States of America in comparison to the other people on stage. So the whole reason why all of these politicians are coached to try and keep going is because if you can coherently keep going and not mess up, you look smarter. That's just the way human beings are programmed. And we impulsively choose the people who can talk the most and the smartest because they come across as the most intelligent. And we know the best way that our tribe can survive is if we have the most intelligent leader. There is a strategic advantage to keeping on, if you know what I'm saying. And that's why Andrew Yang concisely stating things and then stopping actually hurts him a little bit. It hurts him. And he needs to start interjecting. He doesn't need to be like Kirsten Gillibrand trying to do something intersectional every single time in the first debate. But
Maybe he should be like Gillibrand and just after any time someone finishes a sentence, go, excuse me.
No, especially an economic question. He said, that's exactly why I support UBI. And will you join me in trying to put $1,000 in the hand of every African American out there? When they talk about women and the economics of women, will you say, yes, that's exactly why I support UBI. And that's why you need to put $1,000 into the hand of every single woman. Boom. It's that simple, Yang. Dog. If you're smart enough to start Venture for America, you're smart enough to get a debate with boneheads like Joe Biden, like boneheads like Elizabeth Warren, like boneheads like everybody else on stage. Thank you, CJ English. We can ruin our economy and chase all business overseas.
It's such a disingenuous way of wording what it is. It's not a 2-cent wealth tax. It doesn't make any sense.
Oh, you're ready to get in the fight now. You mean the fight that you faked your ethnicity in for the past 30 years? That fight? Oh, jeez. Orange man bad. White man bad. Orange man bad. White man very bad. Need government commission against white man. By the way, white man, 7 out of 8 people on stage. Dude, I'm all for reparations. In fact, I think Democrats should pay for them. You know? You're not on.
I apologize. But I was going to say, the way with Tom Steyer, people started to applaud, and then he started talking, and everyone stopped applauding real quick. He's definitely winning the debate in the room at the very least.
Yeah.
People in the room are definitely responding to this guy. That's funny. You don't see
Look,
that always.
Yang
right?
did a half raise of his hands.
Oh,
yes.
Back to Yang. Well, it's a bit hyperbolic, Yang. I don't think literally zero.
Yeah, you gotta specify that.
Like trending down, I get that. That's bad.
I mean,
but
all of our life expectancies have gone up.
literally-
Please.
Well, no, I mean that's not true. But
What do you mean that's not true? Everybody's life expectancy in America across all demographics has gone up since the 60s. Our survivability from cancers, our survivability from chronic illnesses.
Well, yeah, but like I hear you. It's doubling back to UBI again.
Good. Now explain where it comes from. Explain what other demographics it will benefit. And explain why benefiting the African American community will drive consumer spending and benefit all of us. Don't just make it the soft bigotry of low expectations and handouts from the Democrat Party. Explain the math of how it will benefit all of us, Yang. Keep going.
Well, he did. You were just yelling over it. That's what
No,
he was
I
doing.
wasn't.
Yeah, that's literally what he did. He wanted to talk about other groups.
He gave like a 30-second answer, and he could have taken 60.
Well, he probably could have gone longer. I agree.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Keep talking.
It
Keep
wasn't great.
parlaying
It wasn't perfect.
Keep showing people. It's like if you're a car salesman, you don't come out and say, hey, this one motor trend of 2017. If you don't want to buy it now, you're stupid. No, keep talking about the features and benefits, features and benefits, features and benefits. This is salesmanship 101. You're a capitalist. You should know this.
I'm just saying, it's getting kind of cringe. The longer they go on, the longer like they go on talking, like, it's getting kind of cringe. It's like, literally, it's just a bunch of, like, Yang's Asian, right? But it's like a bunch of, like, white people just on stage talking about, like, well, I think it's just, like, weird. You know what I mean? Like, if you legitimately say, look, man, I'm legitimately going to do my best to help everyone in this country, and we'll go into communities and we'll try. Like, that's really all you should have to say. I don't know why you have to make these super specific, like, it's weird. It kind of tells me you don't really want to help people that badly. If you need, like, very hyper-specific cases to be pled to you. It doesn't make sense. Anyway, $5 super chat from Jeremy. He said, Steyer is literally taking me from Yang. Been Yang since 2019 January before Rogan. No policies, but he sounds great. African Americans will eat this up. Hashtag ADOS. Tom Steyer, and I'm glad you wrote that because like I've been saying, that's part of the reason why I was saying before, I think Tom Steyer, he might actually mess around and win South Carolina, if not get close, like second, third place, because he really has found a way to connect and resonate with the African-American community in South Carolina in particular. Big part is him being there. Like I said, he literally just went there to the communities to talk with the people, which is always, literally replace any community with that. Just show up in any community, interact with the people, and speak with them. What do you know? They'll like you more. I guess it's weird the longer we have a bunch of people on stage talking about, like, it's like some weird alien group. It's like, it's just a group of Americans, man. Go into their communities and talk with them, and you'll see that it's pretty easy to relate. Anyway. No $2 super chat. By the way, I'm staying Yang. Stay reparation until after UBI. Thank you, Jeremy. $2 super chat. But I agree with Thomas Steyer definitely has been noticing. He definitely has been making a legitimate effort, and I think it's why he's been performing well in South Carolina. It's why he challenged Joe Biden on it, and Joe Biden got so threatened and pushed back on him, I think.
Dude, oh my gosh, the Overlord has a scorching review. He says a bunch of white people arguing in a room about how they know what's best for people of color, excluding the only person of color in the room.
The longer it goes on, the more cringe it gets, you know? It's like, can you move on to
Well, that's why I'm
subject?
saying
Jeez.
it's the soft bigotry of revisionist history.
I don't think that makes sense still.
Hey, okay, chat, does it make sense? If we can have 10 permutations of the Wojak meme and 10 permutations of every meme out there.
The words have to make sense, though. It's not even a meme.
Okay.
It's like a sentence,
Did
man.
the chat understand what I mean when I say the soft bigotry of revisionist history? Does the chat understand what that means?
I don't.
Dude, a lot of people are saying Tom is winning me over. Another person said I almost got Yanged away from, or Tom'd away from Yang. I got a Tom Steyer / Yang 2020. He wouldn't have to worry about fundraising anymore. That's for sure.
But it's been a good debate for Steyer. I mean, it has been a good debate for Steyer. It's just legit, you know? Like, he's performed well. The ghost of Bloomberg haunts the stage. That's hilarious, man.
He won't answer the question. Well, it's a funny thing.
Actually, I'm kind of upset they did this. I'm kind of upset they asked a question about what Bloomberg's saying. Because it is baloney Bloomberg isn't on the stage for them to attack. But so Bloomberg gets to attack them, but he can't defend himself either.
Dude, notice that Bernie didn't answer the question.
Good, he
shouldn't. Didn't answer the question.
But he shouldn't. If Bloomberg's not going to be on the stage, we're not talking about him.
Then he should have just said, I don't answer questions from billionaires who are not even on the stage.
He should have.
That's what he should have said.
He honestly should have, and I would have been like, that's a great answer.
Oh. He's got the swarm deck, dude, in Magic the Gathering. He's got the He's got the, what do they call it? The white weenie deck?
For the weenie deck.
Yeah, he's got the white weenie deck.
Woo. Pretty lame attack against Buttigieg, I think.
Yeah.
He's justifying it. But Pete's going to look. I might take money from billionaires, but you know what? We need billionaires' money. But you know what? Honestly, I'd rather that answer. I'd rather not, but we're gonna need it. It's kind of pragmatic.
But they're people too, you know?
It's kind of
and they're
pragmatic.
on our side.
Hey, we might need it, man.
And what about the investors, Larry?
Pete
What about the
Buttigieg
investors?
doesn't lean enough on the fact that he's, I think, individually worth less money than anyone else running for president. I think he should bring that up more. Like, look, man, I'm not worth anything.
Because
like,
you want to know? I think he's worth a lot more, and he lies on his taxes. If he really were that poor,
he's like 38, dude. How much money could he actually be worth when he served in the military for years and went to Harvard until he was like 25? Like, how much could he realistically be
It would
worth?
come across as forced and inauthentic because he's lying on his taxes. Pete Buttigieg, I guarantee to you, is sitting on cash money that he got overseas while he was in Iraq and Afghanistan.
He's got a duffel bag full of gold bars. Him and the boys recovered. Come on.
Something, dog. He's got some. That brother, I don't trust him. I don't trust him. Dude, man, do you know how many dudes I've known that were total charlatans that were Christian, like poster boys on the outside? You know, their Christmas cards were perfect Christian families, and they're total charlatans.
It's not like Pete Buttigieg claims to be worth like $8,000. It's in the hundreds of thousands. It's just less than everyone else because he's younger. He's had less time to accrue the wealth.
Okay. Well, look, I'll tell you right now, if he were legitimately that poor, he would consistently be able to say, look, stop calling me some rich guy.
He's worth like $700,000.
He's poor compared to everybody on stage.
Well, poor is the wrong word.
No, he says that him and, come on, what's boyfriend's name? I mean, what's husband's name? Chasden.
Oh, they are married? I always forget. Are they married or engaged?
Yeah, they're officially married. Okay. They're like Chasden makes like 127 and he makes like, you know, like 50K a year. So their combined income is about $150,000 to $175,000 a year. Yeah. So if he would come out swinging with that, if it were authentic, but see, it's not because he knows there's money elsewhere.
I don't know. I think he just
dude. People don't trust Pete for a reason. He does not come across as trustworthy. He comes across as the youngest little brother that figured out the conniving way to get you in trouble with mommy and daddy, and he'll lie about you.
In the Panama Papers, then he just parades around like he's worth nothing. I don't know, man.
Maybe. Sneaky Pete, says Dustin. Mayor Cheat, says like 10 other people in the chat.
And no one likes him. I don't think he'll actually win. Like I said, he performed very well in Iowa because Iowa is one of the whitest states in the country. It's like the second, and his demographic is very heavily white. So like just like legitimate demographics wise, like that's the best state for him to run in. You know, I'd say most other candidates, by the way, when you start getting to everyone else, you don't get these ridiculous divides of that. Like most other candidates are about their popularity is kind of, you know, fairly evenly distributed, but Buttigieg, for whatever reason, is ridiculously, like, all of his support's white. So in the whitest states, he'll do well, but everyone else, you're not going to see that giant demographic discrepancy.
Magic Mike says Pete looks like a snake. No, he looks like the chipmunk that the snake caught.
He does. He legit
and
looks
is going
like a rat.
to eat. But Magic Mike, you're right. Somewhere in that food chain with snakes is a chipmunk.
Amy Klobuchar hasn't said anything in a while, and she just comes through with just being 100% that B once again. Just going to stand up for the honor. I have to admit, the more I see Amy talking on the stages, the more I kind of, like I said, appreciate her character. Like, not her like legit, not like her like her like character, but like the Amy Klobuchar experience makes me laugh more and more. She is like that just Midwestern super teacher's pet overachiever type person, and it cracks me every time. She's
Chris Flores brings up a great comment in the chat.
I see why she's gotten where she has.
He says, tired of Warren trying to be one of us poor people when she is worth millions. She's not one of us. You're not one of us. Somebody should say that.
You know what? Someone should say, you know what? First of all, I don't feel comfortable being on stage with a peasant like this alleged mayor Buttigieg over here.
Oh, yeah, because she's so worried about the farmers. This girl does not own a pair of mud boots, nor has she in her entire life.
Okay, but so...
It's disingenuous, dog.
Sorry, farmers. I've been to farms, so you can go F off. Don't care about it. Like,
That's how she really feels.
But I don't think that's the way it should be. I don't think it should be like, you know what? I never swung an axe. All those lumberjacks, they can go kick rocks, dude. I don't care about them. It's like, I don't think that's how it works, dude.
Honey Bay says Amy's interjections have let me speak to your manager
exactly.
energy.
She's one of those people. She's one of those people.
Too old to be a Karen.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Steyer's all climate. That's his number one priority. Or number one platform. He's mainly climate. Because he's a billionaire, so he doesn't have any.
But they're second. So. Look at what the message this is sending, though. This is sending American manufacturing class and blue-collar workers, 8 out of 10 people that don't have a degree but have a certification instead. We don't care about you as much as our trade deals affecting incremental changes of climate change in China and India. We care more about other people's countries than we do, and we care more about this elitist, globalist class and the trade deals we make than whether or not you can feed your family. This is why they lose. This is why Donald Trump will win.
Oh, my God.
You can say, oh, my God. But I'm telling you,
okay,
somebody right now. If you're in Wisconsin right now, hold on. We have the biggest craft bottle factory right down the street here.
The problem is, you will say that, and you'll be like, dude, Elizabeth Warren said she went to Harvard. This is why they'll lose. Like, you just say it all the time. Like,
no, I bring up good points.
Dude,
and
there was an article in Slate that said, people, this is why they lose. Like, dude, it's just
okay. You can't tell me. Tell me right now. If we have the biggest bottle factory of craft for craft mayo and stuff like that in all of those steel buildings that you see on Railroad Avenue, and they closed. Why? Because of all of the incremental environmental regulation went to other states, and now in those other states they're closing and they're manufacturing those bottles overseas. You can't tell me the thousands of people who have seen these factories close in their hometown are more concerned about whether India gets its head out of its butt when it comes to climate legislation, or whether or not they allow us to make the stuff here with the good climate legislation that we have. You can't tell me that Tom Steyer just convinced an unemployed machinist that he's going to better him and his family's life than Donald Trump's argument from one of those stadiums where he's filled it with 10 million people.
I didn't say you were wrong. I'm just saying you will literally say that no matter what happens. Like I said, there will literally be like a dude, Pete Buttigieg said this. I didn't disagree. Just you always say that. You always say, this is why they lose. It's like, okay, but... Because, no, I agree, man. If you're going to talk about climate, you have to talk about other countries. It's just, we do pretty well compared to the world. We do pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, you have to talk about China, India, Pakistan.
Worst continent for, the worst continent for pollution? Africa. Second worst continent, China. I mean, Asia. Predominantly China. You know what I'm saying? We pollute less than 15% of the emissions worldwide.
India is also part of Asia, and it's not a big polluter.
India's not a big polluter?
No, it is. Same with Pakistan. That's all part of Asia.
It's horrible.
That's all Asia, though. And for whatever reason, in America, we call Western Asia the Middle East. I don't know why, but there is no West Asia to
that
Americans.
could be considered Russia because there's Eastern Europe and then there's Western Asia, which is Russia.
Russia's just north. It's not like it's not. Look at a map. Like Russia's like a.
I've always run under the assumption that Russians are considered Asians, just like
Parts of
Turkey is Asia Minor.
Parts of Russia, like it's like Siberia, Mongolia, which isn't Russia, but it kind of separates China and Russia. I'm just saying, it's funny. Like geographically, there's always like a meme online with like American geography, but for whatever reason, we don't have a concept of like colloquial American geography. There's no real concept of Western Asia. We just say Middle East. It's funny. I've seen people say, "Well, what is the Middle East? Like, what is it actually?" It's Western Asia.
Hey, Alyssa Monet Mason's back in the chat. Rock on.
Yeah, welcome. It's like we just take. Asia means
Why do we
East
keep
Asia.
on blaming China when we took advantage of them? Dude, they are so taking advantage of us, bro.
Well, it's not even like a blame at this point. It's just like, who cares about like the blame? It's just like China does pollute. They do.
And by the way, when did we take advantage of them? They have so gotten the better shake. They have mopped the floor with us for the past 30 years in trade deals.
I think it's more give and take.
When Nixon opened up China, the agreement was, hey, this is going to be mutually beneficial. We could do inexpensive manufacturing over there, and you're going to buy all of our American products. You're going to want all of these cool technological advancements we're making. You're going to want all this stuff. And China was like, yeah, we're going to buy tons from you. We're going to buy tons from you. We're going to buy tons from you. And no, what did they do? They started manufacturing cheap goods to us and then stole all of the prints and the plans and the intellectual property on how we make our stuff and started making cheap versions for themselves. They have their own factories pumping out their own Ford F-150s contraband here. You know what I'm saying? They have their own fake iPhone stores. Everything in China is fake contraband. All of their stuff is crappy. And where does it end up? In the Yangtze River.
Well, hold on one second. Your favorite products on the planet, the things you swear by, pretty sure you go to bed with one of them within arm's distance at all times. It's made in China, dude. So
wait, are you talking about... Hold on. Are you talking about my Apple mark? My right here?
No,
are you talking about
the
my...
watch isn't on there.
Hold on, yeah.
Yeah, that's all made in China.
Are you talking about my Foxconn in China? Yeah, but let me tell you right now, we can manufacture all of this here.
And that's something...
All of this,
I
dude,
agree. And I'm not
Apple
making...
used to be made in California.
I'm not making...
Every device on my Apple Idol here, my Apple Altar, every device could be made in California.
That's a great way to explain it.
In a heartbeat,
every night
if they weren't
home,
currency manipulators.
Every night you come home and you have your ceremonial removal of the Apple products and you place them on your small Apple altar. Do you use it? Do you use it as an alarm clock? Do you let your Apple altar wake you up in the morning?
I lay prostrate, and then it's like the Muslim call to prayer, you know, in the morning where it's just like, hey, Apple Macintosh. You know what I'm saying? It's a ding 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 that the laptop makes when it turns up. So all my devices come up at once, and the cacophony of sound is it's my call to Apple.
All right. Well, I'm sure the People's Republic of China is very happy that American consumers like you exist to just buy all this awful stuff you talk about. So. Was that really the end? I thought there was one more. There is, right? There's one more segment, I think. Yeah, they're going to go from like another 45 minutes, top of the hour, right?
Yeah, I wasn't under the impression that it was over. I thought it was done at 8. Isn't it 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock? Pacific Standard Time?
One second. Waiting and still moving $15 super chat. Iowa's derailed Yang's morale. The same statistics talk won't work. The internet paved the path now that we are here. How do we use it to win? Money can't be the only way. It didn't work in Iowa. I agree, man. There's definitely been a momentum hit, and I think we're seeing it on the stage tonight. The energy is not there. That passion's not there. It's unfortunate that it's showing up, but we're getting close to the make or break point for the Yang campaign. And one thing I'll say, anecdotally, but Rolling Stone reported today they had received audio of Andrew Yang talking about, hey, you know, maybe in 2020, already talking about another run in 2024. So it does feel like the Iowa did kind of shake him a bit. I mean, firing some national people and then saying, oh, no, they weren't even qualified for their jobs. Like, what are you talking about? He definitely is a little shook on this. That's for real.
Yeah, and
they're back on
it
stage.
seems like
keep going.
Ohio has shaken him up, too. Because now he's saying, I found it very interesting that he said,
Yeah, he brought it up. Why did he
yeah,
bring it
he
up?
brought it up and he said, now Ohio's so red, we won't even be campaigning there. Nah, bro. Ohio is the bellwether state. It
Well,
is
he's not
the
wrong.
bellwether
he's not wrong that
state.
they're losing it in the general. Just the fact that he said we don't even bother campaigning. It's like, well, there was issues.
Yeah.
Some people say he got screwed. I don't know. I've looked into it a bunch, and I've never found conclusive evidence that he got screwed. So if I have to take pretty decent sources versus
it's
just
back
like
on.
the official government source, they said there was something wrong, and it wasn't just Yang. It was other candidates as well, and they're all off the ballot. So sucks, but I think that is what happened.
Oh, we're going back to the 20th century. I got that too.
What?
I got it too. It was a stream problem.
No, I think that was in the building too, because it got awkward in there.
Yeah. Because it's a bell curve, and we have upped that standard, which is actually a success of capitalism, so much so that now our poor are like the middle class of some truly impoverished countries. And that's not to besmirch the poor and say we need to stop working. That's to say, look, we've got to look at this for what it is. We don't have massive malnutrition problems that they have in Brazil, okay? We don't have some of these issues that we did have in the 20s, that we did have in the Great Depression. So let's be extremely happy about what we have done so far and then pledge to keep going.
So if we want to alleviate child poverty, we need to put money directly into the hands of families, particularly single parents. 40% of American children today are born to single moms. 90% of single parents are single moms. And right now, we have fallen into this trap where we have allowed the market to tell us what we are all worth. And what does the market value my wife Evelyn at, or stay-at-home parents around the country?
It is getting to the point where he's saying things on stage. It's not even at the point anymore. It's like, yeah, well, I follow Andrew Yang everywhere. It's like, dude, but he said this on the debate stage 5 times now. It is difficult. I'm glad that I'm hearing his voice echo in the chamber a bit, though. It's a bit more passion.
That was funny. Sorry, artist, but it's true. Zero.
That's him being good, though. That's him showing that personality, right?
Yeah.
He is not just finishing his answers well, though. I think that's it. He's not really, and it's like a public speaking thing at this point, like a policy or a strategy thing. But he is kind of missing that little punch at the
This
end of
is
the
good. I
sentences.
think this is his best answer so far. Okay, that was a good answer. Strong. Take heart, brother.
God, look at that talk time, though. He's not even in the same league.
Yeah, this is the biggest discrepancy, and oh, this is also scripted. This is also scripted.
Well, of course. You know what's funny, man? In a football game, generally speaking, the first drive of the game on offense, they'll script. They'll have an idea we're going to do this. Generally, the first drive and the last drive are scripted for the most part. You have an idea of what you want to do. They probably do the same with debates. The reason being, you want to make sure you get off to a good start and you want to stick the finish. So you practice the hell out of that. Whatever happens in the middle, you better be able to handle that on your own. But you want to make sure at the very beginning, you get off to that good start, and at the very end, you finish this. And I think that's what Pete is. Dude, Pete, I'll pull up the tweet. There's a tweet from Pete Buttigieg. I'll pull it up right now. It's Pete getting ready for the debate, man. Dude, he's got his Eye of the Tiger fake phony. Let me show you. Let me take a look at this. When Pete Buttigieg is like, with that Iowa shenanigans rigging the election towards him, he feels it, man. This is his chance. So, what?
Oh, I thought he was going to say, she said, I started my grown-up life as like in the beginning of the
as
church.
a Native American?
I started my grown-up life as a poor
Native American
on the reservation.
But look at this, though. You think this dude doesn't know they're trying to rig the election for him? You think this dude isn't coming prepared? Look at that. He's got the mock multi-podium setup. He's probably got people up there. He is ready to... He knows that he survived, and if he sticks this, he can pretend he's the front runner again until at least Monday.
Yeah.
When the New Hampshire vote comes
See,
in.
he's a charlatan. He's a better liar. He's a better cheater. He's a better faker. Mayor Pete is just a better grifter.
Hey, it's almost like he's a spy. It's almost like he works for the CIA.
Was he recruited in Afghanistan, dog? By the CIA where they saw the potential? Like, bro, you check all the boxes. You know, dude, you know, you're a veteran, good-looking guy, smart cat, you know finance, you're gay. Dude, awesome, man. We need you in the White House, bro. We need you. Was he recruited, dog?
By
In
the
Afghanistan?
CIA?
That's why nobody ever knows what he actually did over there? Dude, that's an expose, dog.
I thought Net Zero was the internet company, man.
Yeah. Oh, like your kids that you got Barisma bucks from. Yeah, tell us about your kids.
I won't say, yeah, Biden definitely seems to take care of his kids, so that's for sure.
Kagasuki says, why is Sagar going nuts for Yang and Twitter? Maybe he is. We'll have to check it out.
$1.
Jeez.
It's actually pretty. It's a pretty funny tweet
Yeah.
from Sagar. I'll put this on the screen. This is pretty funny.
Hit it.
And I even like Tom Steyer, but this is a pretty funny criticism. Said that Tom Steyer is the apex boomer, rich right liberal.
Obsessed with impeachment since 2017, obsessed with climate change and critical race theory.
They really,
So true.
like I said, that's not a bad
So true.
description of. But it's also
He's the
work-
equipment
okay,
of the self-loathing
It's working
white
for him.
boomer.
It's working for him though.
Yeah, it's working.
He rocks it. He pulls it off. So.
But no, that's not what's working for him. His critical race theory, his self-loathing, all of that, that's not what's working for him. His actual how he's doing it. What isn't it? How he's doing it. He's the only one getting up there and authentically calling out people on stage. He's the only one getting up there and reminding all of
kind
the
of
other
authentic, right?
man babies.
In general.
It's his authenticity, not the actual quality of his message, but the quality of his delivery that is winning the night. Everybody up here would say that they were for reparations if they thought that it was going to get them a couple of extra percentages over anybody else on that stage. But nobody is up there saying, hell yeah, I'm for reparations, period.
Tom
So
Steyer
that
is.
CNN has their soundbite.
Tom Steyer is.
I know he is. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
Is that's why Tom Steyer is taking the
good
night.
Point, good point. It's a good point. Yeah.
It's because of how he is delivering his messages.
I think
Okay.
he believes it. He seems sincere.
Oh, yeah, sure. I'm not saying he is insincere. I'm just saying the way he is delivering his platform is superior to the way all the others are delivering their
I know
platform.
he gets it. Like, I think like he's actually a smart guy, right?
And he's actually answering questions
Yeah.
is the biggest thing.
Only because you know what's funny, and this is no offense to the other people running. Yang is obviously excluded from what he's done, but it's like, yeah, Tom Steyer, he's done things in his life and accumulated a bunch of like. I'm not saying accumulating a bunch of money means that you have to do that to do things, but it's like, dude, Tom Steyer's like obviously done something right at some point in his life.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a moron.
Dude, at this point, Sanders literally doubles Yang in talk time.
Yeah. Steyer's 4 minutes ahead of him. Who said that?
Guys, this is going to be a mother freaking landslide. Our watch party, November 3rd, is going to be a demolition derby.
Well, no,
it's going
I
to be
think
so fun.
The primary is going to be very telling. We'll see. I think there's still a chance for someone to sweep through the primary. I do.
You think so?
It'd be weird, but it's possible.
Oh, stop it, you. Stop it. I can't think of a president that's done more to free more non-violent criminals from prison out there that would require empathy.
You're just a Donald Trump mark.
Oh, I'm just a mark.
When
There's Apple. Hey. There's the Apple altar. And then, oh, wait, I don't have a Trump altar. So, wait, maybe I'm not a Trump mark.
Know, man.
I'm an Apple mark. Not a Trump mark.
You gotta defend your boy always.
No, I'm just defending intellectually dishonest arguments.
Okay, but I don't.
It's okay to say he doesn't have enough empathy. That's fine. But to say an
know.
absolute
You
lack,
said
that falls
You
vacant.
said he's the most empathetic president of all time.
No, I didn't. I said that without empathy, he wouldn't have passed the criminal justice reform legislation that he did.
I'm not gonna get in this argument, but.
And there's so many people that follow Kim Kardashian and what she's done on criminal justice reform that anybody that follows Kim K and has seen her endless visits to the White House on behalf of criminal justice reform and these heartwarming commercials that the Trump campaign's been putting out is going to think, oh wait,
Dude,
that's not what I saw.
Most people are fairly empathetic.
Okay, which is why you need to say there's not enough empathy. I have more empathy than my opponent. That works, but when you try and mischaracterize your opponent, it makes anybody that's in the middle and independents think this person hasn't seen what I've seen. She is wrong.
Okay.
That's how independent middle ground people that only tune in the week of elections think.
You defended your boy. She dared.
Oh my gosh, dog! You mischaracterized me so badly.
Mobility, Joe-bility. It's an effective closing remark from Tom here, though.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's had a good debate. I think Tom Steyer, for the limited speaking time, he's done a lot with it. I don't remember Elizabeth Warren speaking at all. I think Sanders spoke a lot because he was in the defensive a lot. Biden was whatever, man. It was just Joe Biden up there. Pete, I thought did okay. Pete survived. He survived the debate. Amy Klobuchar did her Amy Klobuchar thing. And here we go, man. This is it. It's a wrap.
Yep.
Obviously, this is one of the few times I would say Yang definitely lost the debate. He didn't get a lot of time to speak. When he did speak, it wasn't great. A lot of stuff people had heard before. There wasn't this like pulse or energy behind Yang's performance tonight. That was really disappointing. Like, I'm not gonna lie about that. That was definitely disappointing to see. It looks like he felt that Iowa loss. You know what I mean? Like, he could say, "Oh, whatever. You know, we're looking forward," but after that performance, man, he's not looking forward yet. He's looking back still, and it's tough. You can't do that. You got to come out and you got to just say, hey, on to the next one. But I mean, I hope at the very least, if he isn't looking back and he's performing this in the debate stage, that's troubling. Because if he is, you can address that and say, look, I got to get over it. What's in the past is in the past. We're moving forward now on to New Hampshire, right? But it didn't feel like that to me. It felt like he definitely was relitigating Iowa in his head a bit.
Yeah.
It was very.
He was in the past there, man.
Yeah, it was very boilerplate performance. Very just everything he always says.
So I want the chat to tell me, scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel he did? Scale of 1 to 10, how was the performance of Andrew Yang tonight? Okay? Because Team Yang just sent me an email after the debate. Andrew just stepped off the New Hampshire debate stage where he delivered a strong, data-driven, and impassioned response to every question. No surprise there. This is so boilerplate. You know they wrote this before. The what's it called? The debate even started. But here's the cold reality: if we don't raise $2 million by Monday at midnight and get a top finish here in New Hampshire, then it might be another debate with Andrew's voice. Don't let this happen. Contribute $10 or more. New Hampshire is filled with independent, strong, principled voters. I believe so. We cannot lose our chance to reach as many as we can before Tuesday, but that's up to you, Cardin, because in this one it's coming to my email.
A lot of sub 5s. Got a 7, but a lot of 6. Some 6s. I would say a lot of 3s and 4s, which, yeah.
I think this was his worst debate performance.
Yeah, like the answers weren't awful. It's just they were boring and we've heard them, right? Like it's not like, I mean, it wasn't good though. He barely spoke. Again, that's been a recurring issue for him. Like this wasn't great. Now, again, it doesn't mean you have to end. I don't think you should concede the I give up. Like no, he definitely should keep moving. He just learn from this, man. He's gonna have to learn from this. It was not a very good
now
performance.
riddle me this.
He really struggled, I think, with. It felt like he was resorting to just repeating his scripted stuff a lot. I mean, like I said, it isn't as a Yang supporter and someone who watches all of his interviews, I've heard this before. Just as someone who's watched the debates he's been in, you've heard this before, and that's a problem.
Okay, so I'm actually doing a community poll right now. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good was Yang's debate performance? Now, I want to know from the chat, who do you think won tonight? Who do you think won tonight's debate? Cody, who do you think won tonight's debate?
One's tough. I mean, honestly, I think right now the debate is benefiting Pete Buttigieg the most. I think he did enough to defend his credit as that centrist. Right now, Buttigieg is trying to sell that the centrist establishments can rally behind him against Bernie. And I think if that was his goal, he did that big time tonight. He definitely sold that. He hit Bernie when he had to. Also, Biden helped with hitting Bernie a lot in this stuff. It almost feels like Biden's like this kind of sacrificial blade for Pete Buttigieg. You know what I mean? Where Joe Biden can go out there and say whatever kind of wacky stuff Crazy Joe wants to say, but then it all benefits Buttigieg. Because, yeah, Bernie Sanders got pressed big time on Medicare for All today. It's not necessarily just Medicare for All. He got pressed on kind of promising a very expensive solution to people because the other candidates brought it up. So, like I said, I think Pete Buttigieg going into New Hampshire won because I don't think Bernie looked good in foreign policy. And if this thing starts rounding up the foreign policy, I think Buttigieg's veterans background's good for him. Like, overall, I wouldn't say Buttigieg went out there and won voters over, but if he's just trying to establish that I'm the front runner and get that kind of push behind him, I think he did tonight.
All right. I think that's actually solid analysis that Sneaky Pete, Mayor Cheat.
I do agree as far as if I'm giving you a 1 through 10 grade, I think Tom Steyer did the best with not much time to speak. Tom Steyer really commanded the stage. I think Pete Buttigieg, as far as trying to maintain where he was, he did.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is why I said in our first stream on the Iowa caucus night, where I said a smart politician out of this chaos would simply declare victory. Just go out there, grab the mic, and declare victory, because then you steal the attention and the news cycle, at which point all you have to be doing is consistently faking victory until pretty much you faked it till you maked it, if you get what I'm saying. You faked it till you maked it. Maked it? I don't want to say made it because that don't rhyme. Hey, look at that. See, Biden and Yang are buddies. Dude, nobody's coming up to shake Biden's hand. Look, everybody's there wanting to get a little piece of the Yang gang. Interesting. Did you hear what the not the moderator, but the commentator just said? That on the issue of race, everybody seemed tone deaf. Oh, Zach Grumman finally came in and got Andrew Yang. Evelyn's there. Evelyn is so classy and beautiful. You know what? I think her and Melania Trump are some of the most beautiful, just first ladies out there. You know what I'm saying? She crushes it. She's very feminine, very beautiful, very lovely. Just classy lady. Ooh, yeah, that was the first shots fired, where Joe Biden went after Pete Buttigieg for not being able to get the African-American vote.
It's so funny. Like, you could Amy Klobuchar gets so pumped for these debates, man. She's visibly shaking like crazy, but she is maintaining composure at the same time. It's just adrenaline, man. She loves.
Hey, but look at this.
It cracks me up.
They brought up a really
it cracks
good.
me up to watch.
They brought up an interesting montage of when Amy Klobuchar went after Pete Buttigieg, when Tom Steyer said that's why I'm concerned about Pete Buttigieg, and then Joe Biden brought up that Pete Buttigieg can't get a wide coalition. The fact that they're all going after Pete Buttigieg really shows that they really do fear him.
I mean, I feel like he held court tonight. Like, he didn't. If I'm giving a 1 to 10 grades, he didn't win, but I think he held court and maintained his status as I'm still the front runner. Which, whatever, man. I think he pulled it off. Nothing that happened tonight diminished what he did in Iowa, right? So, by the way, $2 super chat, CJ English.
Here, go
Appreciate
to you, bro,
the
while
stream,
you're reading
guys.
it.
Keep on, keep it on. Thank you very much, man.
Keep on, how much longer you want to go, Cody?
Another 10 minutes or so.
Okay, I was about going to say I got to go inside pretty soon. I got 9 minutes. Oh, dude. 59 is the new 38. That was just like, I don't know if that necessarily helped or hurt her.
Amy Klobuchar's so hokey, man. She's so cheesy.
That was
all
just
the time.
dad joke. And did you see how proud of herself she was? She's like, oh, she's like, who's the rat in the Ninja Turtles, the original Ninja Turtles? Come on, not Shredder. Shredder's the bad guy.
Master Splinter.
Master Splinter. You know how in the original live action Ninja Turtles, he's like, ha ha ha, I made a funny. I made a funny.
I do remember that, actually.
You know what I'm saying? That's literally like Amy Klobuchar. Whenever she tells a joke on stage, she's just stoked out of her mind. You know, she's like, I made a funny.
We have a $3 super chat from Waiting and Still Moving. Said we need a new way forward. Tonight shows that much. I agree. It wasn't a really great debate for anyone in particular. It was a pretty whatever mad debate again. No one really came out as a winner again. It's like there hasn't been that many debates where I've sat back after the debate and just went it's kind of one way of putting it. If you have to ask who won the debate, you could argue no one won the debate, right? Like at a certain point, if it isn't a wow, that person commanded the stage tonight, yeah, who cares who won? So I'm really grading it who survived.
Yeah.
Because nobody won. Like if you have to ask that question, nobody won.
So if you had to explain this in one sentence, the debate that we just saw, okay, if you had to explain the debate that we just saw in one sentence, what would you say?
What do you mean?
If you had to explain the debate in one sentence, summarize how the debate went.
Not much
in one
changed.
sentence. Pete Buttigieg held court and not much changed.
Just not much changed.
Okay. Legit. I could see that.
Serious. So, I mean, every one of these debates where we don't walk away going, wow, so-and-so really took over tonight is a failed opportunity for everyone on that stage. Kind of reminds me a little bit. And I know you go to wrestling a lot, but there was a wrestler who was saying the most important thing anyone ever told him is like, look, every time you go out there on that stage on that that ring to perform, you couldn't afford to pay for that time to like promote yourself. These candidates, except for maybe Steyer, couldn't afford this kind of exposure. It's like you're on the debate stage, you're legitimately. Tom Steyer literally did buy, but you get what I mean. This is a massive opportunity, and every time we just walk away with, I guess so and so did pretty good. It's all right for so and so. It's like nobody walks away with this as really having secured like a big, a win. No one walks away with a win. It's the best way to put it.
Well, the other
say
thing
what
is
you
I
want.
don't-
Go back and watch 2016 debates when Donald Trump was kind of winning that primary. You look at some of those debates. You watch them for 4 minutes. You're like, yep, that's the guy who's winning on the stage. It's never been like that. And I'm not saying they have to be yelling at each other or being crass, but there's never that moment of everybody's turning and pivoting and trying to look up to this one individual. It looked like it was going to be Bernie early on in this debate, but by the end,
You think
got
Steyer
muddled.
won?
No, I don't. He performed pretty good. He probably had the best individual performance, if you want to say that's a winning. But it's not like this is to be the Steyer debate where Steyer turned a corner. I don't think so, man. He did perform well. It was good to see. But I don't see Steyer. Now, I guess I think Steyer, before this debate even started tonight, I said I think Steyer might be top 2, top 3 in South Carolina, could win it. Like, he's got some stuff ahead of him, but I don't think this was the Steyer debate and all of a sudden elevated him to frontrunner status. I don't think that's the case.
All right. Actually, I agree with you. Dustin brings up a point that Bloomberg is smiling in his oligarch mansion right now.
Hey, next time he's got to be on the stage, though.
Yeah. I mean, if anybody could start acting like an adult in the room who was out democrating the Democrats as a Republican mayor, it was Bloomberg. And with how much he spent and how much support he'll have, I mean, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. The Nobody Project says, I'm going to go take a sad shower. Keep talking, Cody and Cardin. I'm going to keep the stream running while I shower. Hey, dude, glad to be there for you in your sad shower. That's hilarious. So I'm going to take off these talking heads, though, because these brothers be bugging. I do want to say, I can't think, Cody, of any new subjects that were brought up.
No, but like, why would there be, though?
Orange Man Bad went on for a long time. They
Like,
just did it in the middle
Why
instead
would
of
the
in the
subjects of the debate change? We're on the 8th debate, dude.
Just because there's got to be something that incentivizes people to tune in again. Like, we tune in because we're into this, but I mean, we've been 3 debates
It's
in
not a
and they haven't
TV show.
changed.
What are they going to say? Tune in Friday when Bernie Sanders takes the stage against Elizabeth Warren
Actually,
in a
that'd be kinda
5-round
cool.
death match. 90-minute Iron Man match. Andrew Yang, Joe Biden, and Bernie Sanders. Like, what are they? $5 super chat from Jay Watt. I find it hilarious that they talked about systemic racism and then asked the least amount of questions to the only minority on stage. Like I said, it did.
Welcome to the Democrat Party, brother.
It did get kind of cringe when a bunch of old white people were
Yeah.
standing around like comparing their black fan bases. Like, what are you guys doing? This is really, this thing it didn't look good. It wasn't. I don't think anyone was sitting home at their couch going like, "Oh, nice, awesome. I'm glad this is happening right now." Like, it was,
Okay, so
it
there's-
was weird, man.
So there's Jose Rosero brings up a good point. He says Chappelle needs to coach Yang. You know what? Any kind of performative coaching at this point, I think, would help Andrew Yang. And a lot of people are asking if his mic was off. Well, we know that their mics were off because there has to be some kind of miking up or down with the soundboard, or else you'll have horrible interference and echo. The question is whether or not they would be attentive to his interjections and whether or not this became another
Well, the thing is,
NBC media Yang media
They didn't
blackout.
have to turn his mic off because every time, I bet if you went back and watched the whole debate, maybe 85% of the time they cut to the wide shot, Yang's raising his hand. They just didn't call on him.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like, I'm not even kidding you. Almost every time like I said, I'm not going to blame Yang for not raising his hand and not interjecting enough too much as it is when he did get a chance to speak, the answers were not that great tonight. Like, they shaft him on questions always. I'm not happy with it. We're going to talk about it, but he still didn't do as much. Normally, he did more with the time that he was given. The answers today, he did not feel comfortable. They felt generic. They felt rehearsed, right? They felt like, they're here. Like, it didn't feel like it didn't feel like some of the other debates where he was feeling himself. You could tell he wasn't feeling himself tonight. And we have a $2 super chat from Coastal Yang Gang. I agree with Cardin. I might tune out the next one. We'll see what happens the next week, man. Remember, New Hampshire votes on Monday. We'll learn a lot about the New Hampshire. You know, worth noting, Yang did get 5% of the overall statewide popular vote in Iowa.
Yeah.
But still, that's not how Iowa works. But still, I mean, like, he felt like he was kind of fairly consistent with the Iowa polls, about 5%. So maybe in a primary state, we'll see him. I don't know. I really hope he turns the corner, but you can definitely tell by tonight's performance, he's still feeling it. He's still thinking about what happened last week in Iowa. It was in his head. You can tell. You can tell in any competition when a competitor goes out there to compete. You can tell when their head's in it or not. His head wasn't in it today. You could just see it happen. A lot of weird pauses like that. It wasn't for dramatic effect or anything. It was just like, is he really done talking? Oh no, he is, and he just stopped. Wasn't a great performance from Yang. It really wasn't. Like I said, I do think he's thinking about Iowa still. It looked like something was weighing on his mind. And by the way, he toured in Iowa for 17 straight days up until the caucus. He should take that kind of hard. He shouldn't just brush that off. It was not a great performance for him, but he kind of needed to recover by today, and he didn't. And that unfortunate. It's a struggle.
Yeah. So, some people have suggested illness. Even if you're sick on stage, unless you're on death's door, if you're emotionally fired up inside, that doesn't slow you down. I think something was in his head. I think an amalgamation of the failure to get on the ballot in Ohio, the lackluster performance in Iowa, and a couple of the other setbacks that had hit him, I think he was a little bit in his head, but it's fine. Nothing you can't come back from, baby. So Jay Watt says, on Padgett's stream, they made a point that other candidates spun their own version of Yang's talking points. Thoughts? Yes, absolutely. We have said this many times, Jay Watt.
It's part of being right.
It's part of being right, and Andrew Yang called it out himself. He said, either I'm going to win this thing or else everybody on stage is going to start sounding a lot like me.
Yeah, but part of having good ideas that are right, good answers. Other people will notice.
So has this turned anybody off to the Democrat Party as a whole? I'm seeing a lot of people here in the chat.
Of course it has.
That are actually saying, well, no, that's good. That's good for me to see because I think finally, at least not everybody's a sellout.
I don't like seeing it. It's bad. Like I said,
I'm
not even kidding you. You know what? I want all you guys that care at least. Look at what happened. And I brought this guy up earlier, but I'm serious. Very interesting. Vince Russo, when he finally took over WCW Wrestling, or World Championship Wrestling, with WCW as a company in the early 2000s, he made interesting decisions and ran the company into the ground. It feels that same way looking at the Democrats now, where it's like whoever's in charge just doesn't get it, man. They don't get it. They're making weird decisions, and they're running it into the ground, and it's not good to see, and it's going to be really sad to look back on this event, I think. I look at some of these decisions, and I'm like, yeah, it's like David Arquette winning the title. You know, it's like, why? Why did that happen? Why are they doing this?
Yeah.
That's what Iowa feels like. This whole election feels like the freaking Dungeon of Doom. Actually, no, I take that back. That nothing to do with Vince Russo. It feels like the freaking tower match. That, like I said, we're getting close to David Arquette winning the title in the Democrats Party 2020 existence, and it's not going to be good.
Interesting. Okay. So anyway, you want to? I gotta bounce, my man.
No, I gotta go as well.
Okay. So guys, thank you so much for your participation. Please continue in the chat. We're going to hang out for another 5 minutes before we shut the studio down, so on and so forth. You can hang out with us there. If you want to make sure you follow us, that'd be great too. We're on PSP Radio 1 on Twitter. You can also follow us on Instagram at Problem Solver Politics. Also, make sure you check out our regular live streams that are on Mondays and Thursdays generally when we don't have something else such as the Friday debates. Anyway, we usually stream Mondays and Thursdays around 5:30 p.m. And make sure you check out for our daily uploads, our YouTube channel. And if you haven't had a chance yet, please like this live stream. It helps us out a lot when you like it. Consider joining the channel. It's cheap and you get some cool behind the scenes content for members only. And also, if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe so you can get all of our latest and greatest announcements. This is Problem Solver Politics. We'll see you guys in the next video.